throwing all sorts
Guys
of
never
things.
have portraits.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. And the nearer it gets to Christmas, the less effort I put in. We're back today
It's a
for another
Christmas
show.
miracle.
We're another show of the Well Tree Burns, where I have done everything in my power to make everyone's portraits look correct. And now I'm going to be passive-aggressive about it for a little while longer. We have Dan Dillon. We had Dan Dillon in the DMC with us tonight. Dan, how's it going?
It's going fantastic. Thanks for having me back once again to blather at you people for another couple hours, like we do every week. I look forward to it. I love it. I miss you guys every week when we're done. So, I'm Dan Dillon. We're going to play some D&D 5th edition tonight in the world of Midgard. I'm excited.
Fantastic stuff. We have Cool School back with us tonight. School, how's it going tonight?
I'm doing good. I am here to play Glazashin, who he got bit by he's a geomancer and just got bit by the ley lines. He's not very happy about it. And speaking of biting, there are vampires with sharp, pointy teeth that go 1, 2, 3, just like my accent. It's wonderful.
Amazing stuff. We have Scarlet Moth with us tonight. Scarlet, how's it going today?
I'm fantastic. It's my birthday on Friday, and also I'm hoping that, I didn't get bitten by a vampire last week, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm ready to do more drug dealing.
It's weird I could make that happen, I guess. Great stuff. We, of course, have McLoken back with us tonight. Loke, how's it going today?
Where? Is he? Oh, me? Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. Today I'm playing Cloak the Gnome Ranger. It is not my birthday on Friday, but happy birthday, Scarlet Moth, in advance, because I probably won't talk to you on Friday. Oh, I could say it in the DMs that we have. Aw. But, I'm excited for today. Apparently we're fighting vampires, so we're going to have some Glaz Vampire Hunter episode today, where he goes around staking everyone. I made a pun before the show started. Only Neil and everyone else will hear that, unless he puts it out on the internet when he's editing. So, yeah.
Amazing. And, so let's all say happy birthday to Scarlet Moth. As like McLoken, we will forget on Friday, unless otherwise we get it in early. You got to say happy birthdays there, and in case you forget, in which case you've got yourself a backup there in the bag.
I'm going to be older and wiser for next time we play.
There you go. Love it.
Well, maybe not
and of
wiser.
course, maybe not. Well, yeah, maybe drunker. We have Simply Jackson with us tonight. How's it going today?
It's good. Just a regular old Tuesday for me. Looking forward to come home and doing this. I'm glad to be back. Last week was really fun, super exciting during our first big fight for me. So I was thrilled with that. And I'm just excited to see where this goes. What's happening? Why? Give me the scoop. I need the little magazines on the rack at the checkout. I need it right now. Happy birthday, by the way, Scarlett. I hope I get to see you Friday, because I'm going to make you something now that I know it's your birthday. I'm excited.
Ooh.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All I want in life is for... I just want Cloak and Glaz to sing me happy birthday in their voices, because that would be amazing.
Well, that sounds like something we have to do right this very second before the show can continue. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't think I can go on without hearing.
It's a moral imperative.
I'll give you backup music if you want.
And the forces cast silence on Tall Squall.
Tall Squall, you are muted. We cannot hear you.
I am muted, and that is because I was warming up my voice for this performance that we are about to have, apparently.
I'm sorry for dragging you into this.
Are we ready? Okay.
Yes. Happy birthday to
Rowan. Happy birthday
Happy birthday to Rowan. Happy birthday, Rowan.
Happy birthday to you. And now we owe something $500,000 for singing that song.
All right. Hooray!
Wow! Hooray! Wow, that was
amazing.
Will,
Slightly
you
surreal.
did this.
Basically, what I'm doing is towards the end of the year, I go through the year's compilations of best clips, so I just start creating scenarios where ridiculous things have to happen, so I can add it to my end of year collection.
That's why in movies,
keep
like you never see in movies, you never see people singing "Happy Birthday." They're always like "Happy, happy, happy birthday to you," and then it's something completely different because "Happy Birthday" is like copyrighted, and you have to pay like a shit ton of money to play it in the movie.
Yep.
I think it's out of the public domain next year.
It's like the Let's Get Ready.
Well, let's do this again
with an
next
R.
year when it's Charlotte's birthday and we're all playing Midgard. Well, my lord. I myself will be playing Riordan today, and he's a mess. Before we get into today's game, I'm going to go to a couple of things. The first of which is we're sponsored today by CobaltPrescott.com, rather. Go over, check out all the Midgard D&D books, PDFs. Check out mine and Dan Dillon's series on YouTube at the moment, where we're talking about how you can create different Midgard characters. It's a great time. Go and check it out. And, of course, Cobalt Press is just awesome in general, so you want to keep up all the stuff that they're up to. Along with, of course, our sponsors, FancyGrounds.com, our virtual tabletop of choice. Go out there, check it out, download it for free on Steam. It's pretty damn awesome. WhenandGames.co.uk is a go-to destination for tabletop board games, war games, and more. They got Christmas sales on. Go check it out, as do TabletopLoot.com. Go over to their website, win yourself a set of dice, which reminds me to pull the winner from the last game, and that winner is Lynn Maris. Congratulations on winning yourself a set of Tabletop Loot dice. We'll give away another set at the end of the game. There is the tweet here for you guys, of course. When we have 20 retweets on that tweet, you guys get to decide something which happens next in our campaign. And of course, you can donate at any time to give players nat 1s, nat 20s, wild magic surges, cabbages, goats, and worse. But I will hand over to our illustrious Dungeon Master, Dan Dillon, to remind us what happened last week on the show and to take us into tonight's episode of the Wild Street Band.
What could be worse than a cabbage?
Don't maybe
I don't like cabbage very much.
We never ran into the cabbage merchant yet, have we?
Not yet.
We have not yet. We have not yet. No. And I stress the word yet.
All
right. All right. So last week, gosh, what happened last week? There was a great deal of investigation and roleplay, and then we ended up robbing some graves, as I recall. You leveraged some contacts you had with the seedy underbelly of Zobek, and you guys tracked down the location of the drug dealer that Riordan used to deal with, and who he sold at least 2 magic weapons to. Maybe more, we're not sure. The memories are hazy. But she was found dead in a river, and you guys got some tips on where she was buried. And so you went and dug her up. You exhumed her body, cracked open the coffin, and cast Speak with Dead to draw information from her cold corpse. Strangely, even though she was dead for near on a week, 5 days or so at that point, she wasn't really decomposing. And that struck a couple of people as odd, but not really enough to investigate any further or worry about it. We'll get to that in a minute. Once they were done interrogating the body with divine magic, she, right about the stroke of midnight, went into convulsions and awoke as a vampire spawn. And so she leapt up and tore into the party with her claws and tried like hell to get them with her fangs, but everyone was too canny, and she wasn't able to sink her teeth into any delicious living flesh. But she has been vanquished through the combined onslaught of you guys, and now lies as a spray of thick, greasy ash coating the bottom of the crushed, sodden pine coffin where she once lay. Her clothes are just sort of strewn haphazardly about the interior of the grave, and you all beat a hasty retreat as you could see lanterns and shouts from the city watch approaching your directions.
And almost this is how there are monster attacks. Although I guess with Dan, you tend to sort of somewhat stagger the monster attacks to make a bit more sense, right?
Yeah, so I don't so much pull anything out of the ether and just throw it at them immediately, but if you donate for anything to happen in the game, if I can't work it in right then, I will make a note of it, and it will happen at some point. So if you donate, you will get your money's worth. I promise you that. So we have a monster attack on the docket. Let me make a note of that.
They're great. How fun. I love
Plus
this already.
one.
Tilly gets a tankard that will affect her in different ways when she drinks. Dan decides the effects. It's awesome.
Ooh, interesting. All right.
Love it.
Plus one monster and magic cup for Tilly. Got it.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting.
Noted. Thank you for the donations, guys. All right. So before we dive into the action and pick up with you guys fleeing into the night, a little bit of interestingness. Tall Squall, will you please roll me a charisma saving throw on behalf of Glazishin?
Oh boy, here we go.
It's happening.
He has silenced himself once again.
Ooh, that's a -1.
A
Huh?
resplendent offering.
Oh boy. They should also all get magic items. That balances the scales, right? Almost. Thanks so much for that donation, my friend.
Okay, so
Rock and
that's that's basically a magic item for everybody, is what I'm taking
Right.
from that.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have a magic cup for Tilly, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 4 other some kind of magic item happening. Got it.
I just hope it's a magic weapon that I've been wanting. A magic short sword of some sort.
Christmas present time.
You have a line on how to
Time?
you have a line on how to get your sword enchanted. You just have to decide when to do it.
I know. I just gotta convince everyone else to go, but don't let them know yet.
That's on you, man. All right, so you guys have escaped across the bridge into the Collegium district, and you can hear shouts of alarm from behind you, but they are fading off into the distance. So, where do you guys wish to regroup after you have scurried off into the night? One thing to point out, Rowan, when she was in the grip of the vampire spawn and in some dire straits, something very strange happened where her eyes went glassy and dead, and then her whole body became sort of desaturated of color and translucent. You could see through her. The vampire's hands passed through her body as if she were made of smoke, and then she just sort of floated away out of the vampire's grasp, looking ghostly and spectral. And currently, that is still how she looks as you guys are fleeing across the Derry River into the Collegium district. So, what are you guys doing at this very moment?
We're still Pass without trace, right?
Yes. It only lasts for an hour.
So how
yeah.
long
We'll say it's still up.
Okay. How long has it been?
We're gonna call it at least 45 minutes at this point, since you cast Pass Without Trace before you broke into Phelan's house and discovered the pouch with the little ritual knife and the headsman platinum coin.
Okay. Do I know where the altar of Morena is that Riordan used to go worship but doesn't anymore?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You guys know that it is in the cartways beneath the silk scabbard, and you suspect you could find your way to it from just somewhere in the cartways. You can definitely find it from the entrance that's in the back of the silk scabbard.
Okay, I would make our way that way.
Okay, that is actually the way to do that would be straight back down the road where the Watch are currently calling for aid and blowing whistles.
Fuck. Hold on,
Yeah.
I need the map up. Sobek map, please. Not
At this
where.
point, Rowan's corporeal again, but she's still grey. and
Okay,
not tired.
Rowan. So are you ending that effect?
It only lasts
voluntarily?
for a minute.
It only lasts for a minute, but yeah, like we haven't gotten to a minute yet. I'm trying to figure out where you guys are and what you're doing. And then
Okay.
Okay, so I got the map up. I got the map up right now. Where are we
Yep.
again?
So you guys, if you look at the map, the shrine to Charon is number 38 there, down next to the Cobalt Ghetto, and there's that bridge. Yeah. You guys fled across that bridge into the Collegium district. The Silk Scabbard is right across the street from 51. right behind you there.
Oh, okay. So we would have to go like around and back.
Right.
Is there
So you
any
guys
other-
could track around. You could take the bridge to the Collegium District, up to the main road, loop back around to Crown Square, and then head down to the Silk Scabbard. Depending on how the watch respond and what they end up doing. That's up to you. So yeah, like you guys have made it across the bridge, and Rowan, as she runs, she doesn't really run. She just kind of drifts. The sound she makes is very muffled, and the air around her has plummeted about 5-7 degrees.
Is she moving faster than normal? Or at her normal
she's moving.
sort of-
She's keeping pace with you guys. You're not sure if she could move faster if she wanted to, but she's moving along at about the same pace as you all.
Let's go to Kettle Whistle's house then, since we're in the Collegium District and we can make our way over there.
So when you say
well-
Kettle Whistles, do you want to go knock D out of bed, or do you guys want to go to your and Gladys' flat? Okay,
Our flat.
got it.
But
All right,
do we
so
really want to
that's-
take them to our house, or take them? Let's go to the Hedgehog and hide out there.
Is the hedgehog
Public space. Lots of people. We've been drinking all night. If it's a hedgehog, it's open. It's open, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a
I look at everyone to see what kind of wounds they have on them.
Oh yeah, so
And-
let's take a quick stock. How wounded is everyone? I know Rowan is torn up pretty well. Like, she has got obvious ragged open wounds. She is bleeding profusely, and in her current state, what is bleeding out of her wounds is not blood, but this silvery, wispy, almost like ectoplasm. It looks like cigarette smoke. It sort of pours out of her wounds and twists and coils, and then just kind of evaporates a few inches
This
away
is a
from her
no
body.
smoking area.
Don't
So
vape, kids.
Glaz is torn up, like he is partially disintegrated, as I recall, from the force damage of the ley line gone awry. I don't
he
know
is.
that anybody else took any
see.
significant wounds. Tilly had a few scratches from the vampire claws, I believe.
They're
Or,
not
no,
bloody.
little bit of the fall.
Glaz is bloody. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk up to Glaz as we're making our way to the hedgehog. And I was like, just clean yourself up a little bit here. And then I'll cast Cure Wounds on him as I do 4 hit points worth.
Okay.
And then you see, Cloak get kind of like tired because he's today he's done 2 level spells and 1 level spell. He's got a few level 1 spells, but he's looking a little bit tired as he casts that spell. It's like, oh shit,
Okay.
man.
All right. So you guys, the plan is to make your way to Glaz and Cloak's flat, which you guys can do.
We're going to
on the
hedgehog. We're going to the hedgehog.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's why I'm making him look pretty.
Okay. So the head. That's right.
Tilly's gonna ask Cloak. Cloak, are you sure that's a good idea with the way that Rowan? Are you okay? I've never seen you look this way before.
It's a
should I
mage
be
district.
able-
That must be normal, right?
I'm a little bit worse for wear, but I'll be fine if we can get some healing. Some more
So
You know
as
what
she
you'll need for
speaks,
healing.
when she speaks, her voice is hollow and has this almost breathy quality, like she has to force air a little bit harder to make her voice work. And about that time, she kind of shudders and her feet settle down to the ground, and whoosh, she becomes fully corporeal again. Her color,
she was
her-
still.
her color mostly comes back. You guys are there. Why don't you guys make me? It's pretty dark. Why don't you make me wisdom perception checks with disadvantage?
Even though it's dark, where are the skills? There we go. Disadvantage, perception.
11.
Glass has a 15.
7.
Okay. All right. So, Glaz, you're the only one who really notices as Rowan sort of settles down and this effect, this spell, whatever it is that she did, ends about a minute after she invoked it. She kind of draws her shawl and her cloak about herself and covers her more obvious wounds so she won't draw attention as you guys are heading into a public place, late at night though it may be. You catch sight of her wounds as she covers them. Nobody else manages to see it. The edges of her wounds still maintain that sort of translucent, almost ghostly look to them. And it looks like like she's bleeding, but the blood kind of evaporates into that wispy, silvery puff and then is gone. And then she covers it up with her cloak.
So Glaz noticed this because actually when she was still incorporeal and was sort of smoky and kind of vaporous, he was trying to very discreetly kind of blow to see if he could, doing a little experiment to see if she would blow away or if he was smoke or whatever.
Blowing on her while she was in that spectral state didn't really seem to have any effect on her, and maybe you tried to poke at her, and as you did, you might have your finger kind of, there's resistance there, but it feels not fully real and almost spongy, and you could push your finger into her shoulder a little bit to pass through it. So anyway, you guys can continue your way onto the hedgehog as you make these observations.
Is Rowan visibly bleeding? Like she's super wounded right now?
She is bloodied, right, Moff?
Yes, she's looking.
Yeah. So she's below half hit points. She's wincing. She's obviously wounded, but she's got her wounds kind of covered now, so she's not necessarily going to draw attention with them.
Okay, I will cast Cure Wounds on her. I was like, Jesus Christ, you guys. You get 3 hit points back.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my god, I need food.
I need a bit more healing than that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was going to say, does that 3 get you above half or no?
No.
No, okay. All right, so she's a bit soothed. Some of the pain lessens, Rowan, and so it's it's a nice respite, but yeah, that's kind of a drop in the bucket at this point. You got mauled pretty good back there. So you guys can make your way. It's not actually very far to the hedgehog from where you are, and you can either just take it on the main road or you can slip through alleyways if you want to be more inconspicuous, and you make your way to the tavern. It looks like there aren't too many people in the common room right now. There are a few candles that are burning low, or lanterns that are turned quite a bit down and sort of hooded, and you see one patron at a table who is studying by a candlelight and has a book open and is just sort of poring over it, and the innkeeper is sort of leaning behind the bar with his feet propped up on a second stool and his arms crossed over the just sort of plain brown robe he wears, and his eyes are half lidded and his chin is tucked down on his chest, almost like he's dozing.
Glaz goes over to the bartender and goes, 2 rounds. 2 rounds, please, for all of us. Drink for all of us. 2 rounds.
All right.
Right now, as quick as you can pour them.
So he blinks as you approach.
And being like, drink this, shoot it. So we end up with empty glasses because we've been here all night.
Okay, so you pour a bunch of liquor down.
If anyone can shoot drinks, it's Rio then.
Glass has been hanging out too much.
Now this. One more. Now drink this. Now just half of this one.
Give some to Tilly as well.
If it's everyone you hand him until he's like,
help me out, sis.
Oh,
Okay, so as you
here you go.
As you hurriedly order these drinks, the proprietor sort of blinks a little blearily and wipes at the bridge of his nose and the corners of his eyes, and he says, "Sure, Glass, sure, no problem." And he starts pouring drinks and just sliding them across to you, and he's kind of looking at you guys with a slightly confused, sort of speculative look, but he doesn't pry or say anything else.
I pay him double the amount for the drinks, and I'm like, we've been here all night.
So he looks at the amount of probably silver that you're passing across the bar, looks down at it. You see one eyebrow quirk just slightly up toward his balding pate, and he sweeps the coins into his hand and says, "I know, I've gotten plenty of complaints about the noise from that one." And he points at Riodan.
I'm trying to keep him as quiet as I can, and I put another 2 silver across as since he's played along.
Yeah, well, it's late. People are trying to sleep. See that you do. And he grabs the other 2 coins and just sort of waves you off toward a table or whatever you want to do.
The darkest part of
about
the
a
room.
gold total, or is it gold and plus?
I mean, so you're at an inn. You're just buying. You bought what, a round for people or 2 rounds, and then doubled it.
I brought 8 drinks. 8 total drinks.
Yeah,
and then paid them
we'll
off.
call it a gold. We'll call it a gold total.
Okay.
I give my drinks to Tilly because Riordan's drinking most of them. I'm like, oh.
All right. So Tilly, you managed to get a few of the shots at least, and you guys can slink your way into the back corner where there's a large corner booth and plenty of shadows for you to handle your skullduggerous business.
Glaz, if
Glaz
anybody
takes a few of the
asks,
glasses with him, so with her some empties on the table.
Sure.
anybody asks, then we can say that an experiment has gone wrong, which is not exactly the untruth. Your magic experiment did not.
I haven't had that much fun in ages. It was great. Amazing. Dig up a dead woman.
Oh, you mean the bar
Speculate
brawl?
about-
It was really nice. Yeah, the bar. We drink too much sometimes, and you just get a little bit out of
brawl?
hand. A little. Yeah, remember that?
It was
It
amazing.
was
We thought
great.
she was
Yeah,
dead drunk, and then look, she popped right up.
This is like an alternate universe where Riordan
dead.
says all the honest stuff, and then Glaz is like the liar now. What is going on?
So while this exchange is happening, and Tilly, you're trying to take it up a notch to drown out Riodan as he starts talking about vampires and dead women. You guys hear a soft thump of the other patron's book snapping shut, and there's just something miffed about that sound. The way it snaps closed, you can hear his irritation, and he kind of slides out of his table. Glaz, you recognize him vaguely as someone you've seen around the district before, and probably around the Hedgehog. And he kind of gives you a little bit of a harumphy look and heads toward the stairs.
Harumph back at you. You always are never. You are never nice. You never want to talk or share your research.
Glaz is getting sassy. You know it's real.
I know.
Tilly's like, you know,
Bit by a ley line. He is not having a good night.
True. I will also say in the Collegium District, Glaz, you can hear that low, mournful string note of the Shadow Road a little bit louder here.
He hush you. Abe drinks his mead.
So
He's fed up.
after the irritable fellow takes his leave from the common room, it's just you guys and the proprietor, who, by the way, Glaz and Cloak, you guys know him. His name is Radomir Schlenk.
Okay.
Oh, such a great name, Radomir.
Dear Radomir Schlink, will you be my evil grandfather? Yeah, I look at everyone and I was like, so what the fuck is going on?
Tilly will look over at Rita and go, "Are you sure you didn't know she was a vampire? Did you? You didn't. I mean, you seem surprised all the time at everything, but did you know then?"
I don't think she was when I knew her. I think I might have smelt it on her, if I'm honest.
Sounded like she was attacked by this woman.
Most likely, yeah. Yeah, probably got her afterwards. I think.
Yes.
So I have a question about vampires. Riordan, can you guys turn people into vampires, or is that like stunted in you?
What do I know, Dan?
I mean, you know
make
about
people
your
vampires.
race. You know about how your race and how you work. You are essentially half-blood vampires. Somewhere along the line, your family is the offspring between a vampire and a mortal. while you have certain aspects of the state of vampirism, no, you can't turn anyone into a vampire, and you don't spontaneously become a vampire yourself, despite what the stories say. And in fact, you've been around vampires enough that you understand that that was a vampire spawn, and that she was probably slain by a vampire's bite, and then once she was buried, she laid there for 3 days until she rose again.
Yeah. I recount this back. So, probably wasn't a vampire when I saw her, so...
Alright.
Okay, so... Does that mean... Is there a vampire here?
Yes.
The one she,
Probably
the one she
Accidia.
went to kill. She went to
Like
kill
all
someone
roads
with the. She went to kill someone with your scourge.
Oh, my skirt. My skirt. Goodness. Just
I
as
don't
well known
want to
I
see your
been
skirt.
killed with my skirt. That would have been entirely different
Yes,
business.
that would be a blinding sight. Please, can I get some ale? Something.
So about the time that you ask that, Rowan, you guys see Radomir coming over with a tray, and he has a pitcher that he sets down in front of you, and at a quick glance you can see that it's full of just clear, cold water, and sets a bunch of glasses around, and he kind of sweeps a glance around all of you and says, "Something tells me you folks could use a bite to eat. I'll be right back."
Oh my god.
Rowan just
Thank you, Radomir. You're a gentleman and a
shoves her
scholar,
big-
as always.
Rowan's
Is
shoving
he
her
a
bacon
vampire
into the
because
pitcher.
he said a bite to eat? Is he trying to be funny? Does he know? Does he fucking know?
I don't think he knows. I think you're fine.
He knows. Glaz, I will remind
He
you.
knows
I
too
think we
much. Let's
touched-
kill him.
I think we touched on this once before. I think we touched on this once before, but it's a good time to remind you that there are dark rumors that circulate about Schlenk, that you know for a fact that he used to be a member of the Collegium but was expelled, and there are rumors that he was expelled for diabolism. So he will come back in I don't know, 5 minutes or so, and he'll bring out a tray of cheese, cured sausages, bread, and sets that for you guys. And he says, "If you want something hot, I can see to it, but it'll take a little longer."
Meat, raw meat, please.
Just
She likes the raw meat.
raw would be
Well,
fine.
He chuckles and says, "That won't take long at all. All right."
Just
So
bread and water.
he
That's all I need.
So he comes back with basically a cut of a mutton haunch that hasn't been roasted yet. Rowan?
Gnawing it straight away, almost choking on the bone.
Okay.
Watch your fingers,
Okay, then.
Les. Don't want
All
to
right. So after that, Schlenk kind of goes to, keeps himself to the other side of the room, and it doesn't look like he's doing anything untoward, but you get the feeling that he's kind of giving you guys the room and giving you your space.
Yes, he's always been good about privacy. We've chatted. I'm just thinking, Glaz might have had discreet conversations with him about void magic, just because you delve in one thing, you might delve in another, and of course Glaz talks to everybody. So
You've probably queried him at one point or another, and he didn't really know much, unfortunately. So
right, yeah, I
you wanna
figured
talk.
it was not fruitful, but it just in general that
Right.
we've had sort of private conversations.
Yeah,
things
absolutely.
that we don't want to get spread around.
Right.
God?
Who's beeping?
Hello.
Hello?
So,
Right.
quick question, Dan. Just mechanically, can we consider this
Sure.
a short rest?
Oh yeah, you guys. Well,
Could be a
you
one.
guys want to try and stay here for about an hour, take a rest?
Yes.
Yeah, until
I
the
figured
heat dies
get
down.
sort of lay
Right.
low,
Yeah.
Okay.
let the fuzz
So-
move on.
So you guys kind of hunker in, and after a little bit, Radomir actually closes the front door and snuffs the candles in the windows, as if the inn were closed. He goes ahead and leaves the ones burning back by you, but those are far enough back from the now shuttered windows that no light is going to leak out, so it looks like the place is closed up. And after a tense, I'd say about half hour, 45 minutes. Yeah, Cloak?
I want to go put out those lights because we don't need them.
Okay.
Because I'm
All right.
weird.
So he goes and so Cloak goes and snuffs the other two candles, and then you hear this sort of from across the room from the very human Radomir.
Oh, I thought he left.
Wait,
I thought he
can't
closed
see.
up and went away from me.
Like he's around, but he's staying away from you guys, so it's like he's not in earshot if you guys want to talk quietly.
Yeah, I thought he closed up the
That's-
shop. And I
that's-
was like,
that's-
can I go
that's-
from
that's
here?
Fine. Like, no. Do troll
You
cannot
guys
have dark vision?
candles and blow them all.
You have dark vision.
No, I
Yeah.
do. I'm sorry. Yes, I do.
We all
So,
have dark vision.
So after that, you hear a muttered word of an arcane incantation and a small snap of fingers, and a little pulsing blue globule of light appears in Schlenk's hand, but it's only giving off very faint illumination, and he sort of takes it into the back.
Sorry.
It's all right.
We have a few things to discuss.
So you guys will be able to finish a short rest in here, so you guys can spend hit points, gather back any resources that you recover on a short rest while you have your discussion.
Okay, I'm going to be rolling some hit dice.
Yep, I was doing the same thing.
I'm feeling a whole lot better.
I'm gonna act, since I didn't take any damage. I'm gonna actively be keeping watch for everyone, and so and being paranoid like that.
Okay, you're keeping watch. You don't even need a check to see that about, I don't know, I'd say about halfway through your guys' hour that you're kind of taking it easy, laying low, you see a squad of guardsmen moving along the thoroughfare in front of the hedgehog. They kind of hold up lanterns. They're using bullseye lanterns that fire these long sort of intense cones of light in front of them, almost like flashlights or spotlights, and they are checking down alleyways and just sort of searching the street as they go. But it doesn't look like they're messing with any buildings or coming near the hedgehog itself at the moment.
Okay, we got. If they come towards the hedgehog, what do you guys want to do?
Run, maybe? Or fight them?
Oh,
No,
We've been here all night.
We've been here all night, and also Glass and I were a bit injured from one of his experiments gone wrong. Isn't
And
that
you have
right,
light
Glass?
That's entirely
sensitivity.
incorrect.
And
I got
they
it.
saw
You guys
us,
have- You guys have light sensitivity right now, which doesn't really bother us, but we just put out the lights, and so that's why we're just drinking in the corner, getting fucked up over here. Don't mind us. We're partying because it was successful.
I mean, maybe
Huh?
even though
Alright.
the experiment was wrong, it still was somewhat of a success, you know? And maybe
Yeah.
we're celebrating that.
Yeah.
You think so?
Perfect.
And also Ryoden is very drunk, and it's
Oh.
and he still has a slight hangover, so which is why we've turned
Why
off
is
the
always
lights.
me that has to be the drunk one? I mean, I guess, and I down another ale.
I mean, are you
Yeah.
complaining?
After
I'll
which
play the part
Ryodan
again.
says, after which Ryodan hiccups and a few bubbles come out of his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Always typecast.
Yep.
Very
All right,
versatile.
so you guys finish a short rest, and you can. It seems like whatever pursuit is happening has passed you by. So
I
you
have a
begin
question
to
regarding-
relax.
Regarding the final answer she gave before that, we asked her who her contact was in the Cloven 9, but she said I bite. Does that mean that the name of the person was I bite, or was she saying that she was going to bite us?
Is there a roll
be
I
possibly
can make?
That's a coin toss.
Yeah,
Could be a name we can ask around.
So you guys, there's a couple of rolls we can make here. We could try some intelligence arcana checks. And I think
Okay.
the intelligence arcana, that is going to be just from Glaz, I think.
Aw.
You
I'm proficient in
can
that
make.
one.
Okay. You can make an intelligence investigation check, or yeah, we'll call it investigation.
Okay. That's a straight up roll, so let's see what I get here. 15! Bam!
Not bad.
That's
Not bad. All right.
14.
So you're making so this unfortunately is not something that Rowan could have reasonably picked up because she hasn't been in Zobek. This is something that it turns out Cloak has. Sorry, what?
I think she would be just doing it to make sure she was just as a common sense check of she wasn't saying that she was going to bite us, was she?
Oh, okay. So while there is an amount of irony with her talking about eye bite and then turning into a vampire and trying to bite you, it seems like that was not the intention of the answer you got through the spell. So it seems like that's just sort of a dark coincidence. Glaz, you unfortunately do not recognize the word eye bite with any sort of magical significance. Cloak, however, you have in fact, you were a little hyper vigilant regarding the Cloven Nine after a certain incident ignited between the Black Shields and the Tiefling gang, and you have heard that eye bite is the moniker by which the leader of the Cloven Nine goes.
I would be like, well, eyebite is the what the leader of the Cloven Nine goes by.
That's
So,
not threatening at all. It's
Oh no,
So
no,
would
not at
be-
all.
Could be evil.
Oh,
And here's the thing: we're friends with, Thrick, and they're kind of at a war right now because they still some of their guys killed them, wrote infernal on them. That's something they totally would have done. Yeah, that's we got to go talk to them, and we might be known associates of Thrick, possibly. So they might
at
not
least
want to
we
talk
know
to
that
us.
we
Possible.
can tell them the truth.
Nice.
And that their associate, she was not killed by Thrick and his gang, but rather a
Do we
vampire.
know that?
Well, they don't know how she was
Surmise.
murdered. They're not going to be happy we dug
I think
up her
we know that
body
she was-
to talk to her.
Well, we can say we wanted answers.
All right.
Was
Sorry, it
some
was.
answers
Did I,
are, some
did I
answers
miss
are
a
better
question?
than none.
Oh, I don't know. I was waiting for
Some-
other people to go.
Some answers are better than none, and
Well, I'm not sure if the Cloven Nine knows that she's dead, unless the Cloven Nine is working with this vampire that killed her. I mean, I think we know that because she came back as a vampire and as a spawn of a vampire, that is in fact how she died.
Right.
The question
Almost
is whether
certainly.
the vampire is working with the Cloven Nine to infiltrate Zobek.
and I believe that the vampire now has your blade, Ryodan, given that this tiefling went to kill her with it and was then dispatched herself.
Yeah, I wasn't buried with her. So rude.
Maybe think better about who you give your weapons to next time.
It's not like I really need it.
But surely it's safer in your hands than, say, someone who might be out to kill you specifically, the last scion of your religion and house.
Questionable whether or not I really am that anymore. But I get your point.
I think the problem
should
is
we-
just asking to think, frankly. But that's just what I.
Could be that. You did just make me drink a whole lot. I'm still coming down.
They're doing
But
great.
surprisingly, you have more sense right now than you did on your, what do the kids call it? Bender?
They do call it that.
Okay, question.
See,
Should we
I'm
get a
ready.
message? Should we get a message to the people at the Silk Scabbard that, someone might be hunting them?
I believe that might be. If not wise, it would be wise of us to deliver it ourselves, or perhaps Tilly, who.
Unfortunately, my crow did it earlier, so unfortunately he needs to rest for a little while before he can do it again.
I might be able to do something then.
So Tilly, you know that you actually. I'm sorry. What was his name again? What's your raven's name?
Remember.
I'm trying to remember.
I did not write it down. I know.
It was a good name.
You're a bad
I can't
mom.
remember.
I'm
All right,
bad.
we'll
I
check-
didn't write it down.
We'll check.
I'll go back
We'll
and
check the VODs. Yeah. So you know that
It's got a 2-day
can-
cooldown. That's why I was wondering.
So yours is a little bit more readily useful than the one out of the standard Silver Raven out of the Dungeon Master's Guide,
Okay.
and you didn't use him for very long, so you know that he can pop out again. You can just leave him out to hang out almost familiar like if you really want him to, or he can jump back into the shield.
Okay, sure. I mean, we can ask him if
So-
you'd like. I'm sure he
Yep.
won't mind to come out to at least talk. Kind of let him do his own
Yeah.
thing. I don't like to be told what to do. So maybe if he wants to.
I mean, we can ask him nicely, I guess.
Okay. So you want to invoke the shield?
Sure.
You place your fingertips on it and whisper his name, and the shield shimmers, and the embossed raven on the front flexes its wings and jumps off of the shield into full silver 3D reality, and pops up onto the up onto the table and kind of like caws and preens at your hand with his beak, and sort of looks up at you with his one gouged eye.
Rowan Tilly looks at Rowan and says, "May I like a little piece of meat for him? Just a tiny bit."
Go ahead.
She'll pull a little bit.
Yep. And Ryan will go over and give him a little scritch.
He'll kind of hop over and turn his head into the scritch, and his silver feathers fluff up under your claw tips.
Hello, my love. I know I asked you earlier a favor, but if you don't mind, we've got another one that we'd like to run. If you don't, it's just a short message to the scabbard where we were the first time we pulled you out.
He kind of clicks his beak and says back in your voice, "Short message."
Sure. Let me figure out how we want to phrase it. What do you guys think we should say? Just a warning about incoming danger?
Phelan's associate killed by pure blood. Beware hunting afoot.
Did you get that? You think you can say it in his voice too?
Sounds like we're hunting someone's foot.
Well, it's kind of double entendre. We're doing some hunting. They're doing some hunting on the evil side,
Right?
Yeah. So when you ask him if he's got that, Tilly, he nods his head and then just sort of tilts his head to the other side and says, "Who?"
Who's the bartender at the Silver Scabbard again?
Kaija.
No, the hooker.
Or maybe
what's her name?
Kaja.
Kaja, yeah. I almost said
Kaja.
Kesha
Kaja.
again. God damn it.
Send it to Kesha.
Kaja.
Not Kesha.
All right.
It's the
So you
singer
can,
down at the bar on the other side.
You can describe Kajia to him, Tilly, and he sort of nods his head once, then caws and flies over to the window, and then stops and looks back at you.
All right,
and
be
you,
safe.
Yeah, you open up the window for him, and he flies out into the night. Ah, ah, ah.
Not enough Jack Daniels to be able to brush her teeth with for Kesha, so no, not her.
Okay.
Well,
Rowan is still drinking thirstily straight from the pitcher. She's not even bothering to pour it into a cup.
All right.
well, what do you guys just want to hang out here until things die down a little bit more?
I
Yeah, I'm in no rush. I mean, that was the most fun that we've had all week, so...
I'm exhausted.
Take a nap. I'm exhausted too. Actually, hold on. Rorschach. What's his name?
Radomir.
Schlenk.
Radomir. Question. Can you get us a bucket with the water and a couple rugs?
So you
What are
you see
you
that
up to?
blue, that faint blue glow reappears in the doorway to the back into the kitchen area, and he kind of peeks his bald head with that just kind of ring of hair around the back. Peeks his head up. Sorry, what was that? Water?
Oh shit! Yeah, bucket of water with some rags, clean rags.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. And he
Okay.
he disappears, and a moment later comes back with what you requested.
All right.
And he clears away any of the dishes that you're done with, and kind of looks you all over and said, "If you need a friendly place to stay for the night, here's fine. But if you want to take your leave, doors open."
Rathmir, you're always a good friend. Thank you so much.
He just kind of taps the side of his nose once, and then takes the stuff back into the kitchen.
What an enigmatic fellow.
I would start cleaning people's wounds and their clothing too, just in case they have like blood. In case anyone comes in and they're like, "Were you in any fights tonight?" And then we're all like banged up. We're like, "No, we weren't in any fights." Failing a deception roll.
Sure. Rowan, how's your hit point situation?
She's almost back at full now.
Okay, so as you kind of go about kind of tidying up anyone's wounds, Glaz, when Cloak didn't notice the strange state of her wounds before, but now when they begin kind of cleaning up the area around those wounds, her wounds look like any normal flesh wound you would expect to see on any other person. They don't have that weird ephemeral quality about them.
Yeah, Glaz sort of takes note of that. I'm assuming in his studies with the Collegium, he at least is aware of like the ethereal plane, but knows that this is something different.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so
you can make
to himself. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can make an intelligence arcana check.
Okie dokie.
Can I roll to see if Rowan is noticing?
He is having a really bad night.
Sure, Rowan, you can make a wisdom. You can make a wisdom insight check. Glaz, okay. Yeah, you're not really able to pull much about it. All right, so Glaz, why don't you go ahead and make me a charisma deception check just to see how well you kind of conceal your intentions, how subtle you are about it.
Okay. Oh, me? Oh, I fail. Glaz is not subtle about it at all.
All right.
Yeah, it's Glaz. It's Glaz, and it's something new he hasn't seen before. You're lucky he doesn't have his fingers over there.
Okay, then I would say that a 10 is enough for you to realize that Glaz is kind of inspecting your wounds, and he looks a little perplexed and intrigued. So you suspect that he noticed some difference or something that's caught his attention.
Here's the thing. I think especially since Glaz has failed twice on this, other than seeing them, Glaz has been so worried that they were caused by the backlash that he can't get himself off the thought that perhaps what has happened to her, since he basically had, force damage disintegrating chunks out of himself, did he somehow hurt Rowan as well, and that's why her wounds looked so weird. Because I would think while he was getting basically attacked by a ley line, might not have noticed her getting mauled as badly as she did.
Okay.
So I think
Rowan's looking at him and sort of.
I'm very sorry.
It's rude to stare. What's wrong?
I'm sorry that I think my magic wounded you so terribly.
I don't believe you wounded me. Look at yourself. It was the vampire spawn. Not. You have nothing to apologize for.
But your wounds, I understand a little bit about perhaps how you became ethereal, but not quite ethereal, something different. But the wounds, they stayed strange even after you came back. So I was concerned that perhaps some of what happened to me spilled over onto you. I wanted to say I'm very sorry.
Thankfully, no. It's to do with some strange condition. That's all. I am an old woman now.
Okay.
I don't believe that old women that I know bleed smoke, but okay.
You're both gross.
Oh,
Not
so no many women, eh? I wouldn't have guessed it, but now I know.
Well, Dee is a little bit older. Well, she cut herself once, but she just bled red, so I don't think it's an old woman condition, but I will note it down. You learn something new every day.
Eventually, your silver raven returns, Tilly, and kind of crawls back in through the window that you left cracked for him and flutters over to your shoulder and just sort of settles down. He opens up his mouth and speaks with Kaja's voice, and it says, "That's terrifying. I'll make sure everyone stays safe." And that's it.
All right. You want to stay out a minute? You can hang out here with us. Just don't cause too much of a disturbance.
He kind of shifts his weight a little bit, and you can hear his claws, the silver metal of his claws, kind of tink and screech as they grab onto your breastplate and your pauldrons, and he kind of settles in and starts like preening your hair behind your ears.
She'll do a little on the tuft of his chin.
Yep.
So, if we're gonna talk to the Cloven Nine, we gotta find a reason to talk to them, or a reason to talk to the leader at all, or be able to set up a meeting with them. It's not like we can just walk up and be like, "Hey, what's up?"
I mean, if you need some bait, then throw me in.
I mean, in a little bit.
You're muted,
know what-
Squall.
Yep. I will be back in just a moment. I just want to go say thank you again to the Radigan, not Radigan.
Radomir.
Radagast.
To Radomir.
Brown.
And Glaz
That's
excuses himself from the table and wanders into the kitchen where Radomir was.
All right, so you can hear him sort of tidying up the dishes before you see him, and you come around the corner, and now there are 4 of those little blue blobs of light, and they're giving off slightly brighter light now. So the kitchen is pretty well illuminated with this sort of ghostly blue flame, and you recognize it. It's a dancing lights cantrip.
Yep. Glaz, if there's like any little bit of cleanup to be done or dishes to be washed, will begin to sort of help out.
So it looks like you could probably help out most by grabbing a rag and drying as he finishes rinsing and washing the dishes. So he'll just sort of nod gratefully and start handing dishes over to you, and he'll say, "So, you and your friends doing all right?"
It was an interesting night. Probably best. Sometimes it's better not to know. But I know we have talked about sensitive subjects before. And I don't know. I'm grasping at straws. It was a very strange evening, as I said, and I don't want to get you involved, but you might be able to point us in the right direction. I know the rumors that have surrounded you, and
his expression goes a little dark when you mention that, but he doesn't say anything.
I understand, but I wouldn't ask something so forward and sensitive if it were not important. We seem to have found ourselves in need of speaking with the Cloven Nine. And while I do not have lots of information, I do know that that by their reputation have perhaps delved into the infernal in the past as well.
Well, they make no secret about that. And if it's a summoning that you need, then they can certainly set you up.
I don't think this is a summoning.
Or a curse.
Well, curse is getting closer. Do they have any... What is their attitude towards the Blood Kingdom and vampires? Do you know?
His eyebrows go up a little bit, and he says, well, I'm sure I wouldn't know. I've probably spoken to a few of them here and there, but I don't have any regular dealings with them.
With the Cloven Nine?
Cloven
Verifying,
Nine, yeah.
he's talking about dealings with the Cloven Nine, not with vampires.
Yeah. So he's saying he doesn't know what their attitudes toward the Blood Kingdom are.
Right. We were given the name Eyebite, who is apparently the leader.
Well, he is now, anyway.
Oh, there was someone before.
Well, one of their founders was killed not too long ago.
Really?
A little while back, not terribly recent.
Years, not months or days.
Maybe a year or so. The exact timeline on that isn't exactly being shouted by the street criers. But no, not like last week or anything.
Interesting. What do you know?
So,
do you know of anything of this Eyebite who has taken charge then?
I know a little about him. I know that supposedly you might be able to find him at the Broken Seal over in the Docks District. That's where most of his people tend to congregate. They're not very shy about their heritage or their dealings. They keep it just low-key enough to avoid getting arrested. And they're useful enough and dangerous enough that it's not worth anyone's time to try and sell them out.
Do you know, do they respond to gold if one wants to speak with them, or how would one get an audience? We believe one of their members was killed recently under mysterious circumstances.
Well, I suppose you could find one of them at the Broken Seal and let them know that you have information. Then maybe they'll find you or be willing to see you. I don't know of any special way to guarantee an audience or anything like that.
Understood.
You can make a wisdom insight check.
Okay. Come on, Glass. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna roll it. I want to roll this. This I don't want to spend. I want to see how Glass does. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Ooh, 17.
Ooh, nice. So you get the feeling that while he is being truthful, there's just a little bit of evasion happening now and then.
Right.
Like, so you're not sure he's entirely honest about never having had dealings with them.
Right. Yeah, no, and I think I thank you for your help on this. I understand that your life was changed due to the insinuations that were brought up against you, and I hate to bring up such a painful part of your history, even if it is unfounded.
Yeah, well, water under the bridge at this point.
Yes, like I said, I was mainly looking to see what kind of entrance we should make, whether it needed to be get into back rooms or things, or that we could. You were saying that they provide summonings and curses, perhaps for coin, so maybe we could go in as though we are in need of a service.
I've heard tell that at least one of them, I'm not sure who, is a fair hand with divinations as well.
Oh.
And
That was interesting.
he looks almost hesitant to tell you this, that if you're looking for somebody to, he just shakes his head. If you're looking for a contract killer, they know the right people.
Interesting. Just out of curiosity, so I can fill out my notes, connect all my dots. What was the name of the previous leader before iBite?
Oh, it was Acre or Akar, something like that. I don't remember. Didn't really hear much about him until.
No worries, just so that it is something that I can file away for later. You know me, all the questions.
He chuckles and says, "Yep, I know you."
Yes, you do. Let's get these dishes dried, and I'll stay in there until all the dishes are dried, and just then make small talk.
Yep, you guys finish it in short order. He goes ahead and chats with you about this, that, and the other, and then you make your way back out. Anything anybody else was wanting to do while Glaz took his leave?
I got nothing.
Rowan is picked Puff Puff up in her lap and is just patting her absentmindedly while she's rolling the bones.
So Puff Puff is really big. You can't really get her in your lap so much as she can probably lay her head in your lap, or even her front legs. But she's big. She's probably Great Danish sized.
Somehow I see
Okay.
Rowan as being awkward enough to be like, we're going to make this work. And then having
Oh,
this
yeah.
really
Well,
big
now knowing Great Danes, if you were on a seat that would even remotely accommodate
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it would try to get up there, whether you're there or
Oh,
not.
yeah.
But on I guess on a bench, she actually might try to force her way up there and snuggle in. So it's probably getting very crowded on Rowan's side of the booth.
I can imagine that it's either Tilly or Cloak next to her, so there's just small person, really large dog, Rowan.
Yep, and then you can just hear the thump of her tail on the leather back of the booth seat. Foop, 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 foop.
And she's just going,
Right.
So with this is how I like to tell what might happen to us in the future.
And she kind of tilts her head to the side, doing that dog thing that they do when people are talking to them, and kind of sniffs the bone that you're holding up, but doesn't try to take it or snap at it or anything.
And in Sylvan, I'm like, you have to say it in Sylvan. She knows Sylvan.
Oh, I can say it in Sylvan, and she's responding in Sylvan. So
Sure.
I show these bones. I
Mhm.
use these bones to tell if your master's going to die or not.
She when you say that, she kind of she has the big doggy grin with her tongue kind of lolling out, and then when you say whether your master dies or not, she kind of sucks her tongue back in and her mouth closes and she tilts her head the other way and goes "Ruff." And about that time, Glaz comes back from the kitchen. So, what's the plan, folks?
I spoke with our friend here, with Radomir. It seemed as though while the 12 and 9 are unsavory types, it should not be a huge deal for us to get in there. I'm not sure if this late at night, I assume it's now approaching 2 a.m., yeah?
Probably at that point, yeah.
Yeah. It would be a good idea to go, but they have services for coin involving summonings, curses, probably some showmanship and skullduggery to just to play up upon their infernal heritage. Perhaps some real, some not, but we should not have. Not sure if we can get to iBite himself, but to at least get in and ask around. It is of interesting note. iBite is rather new to his position as the leader over there.
If they,
the previous.
if they're worried about this vampire lady, then maybe we can sort of align ourselves as allies. Okay. What about killing them as well? And
I think-
look out, I'm from this club where we kill vampires.
Yes, general I'm assuming that this is pretty general knowledge. I assume there's no love for the Blood Kingdom in Zobek.
I mean, yeah, not really. Zobek is a free city. It's kind of a city-state area here, and yeah, they're the religious practices of the Blood Kingdom are illegal here, and you know that there is a small, and they really don't have a whole lot of political power in the city, but they are present. There is a contingent of worshippers of Chorus, the sun god, including some Knights of the Undying Sun. And they are created to fight undead and creatures of shadow. So, yeah, there's not.
I know there's there's not like a Blood Kingdom embassy in Zobek or anything.
No.
Okay, just double checking that we weren't going to get into political trouble here.
Right.
I mean, I do not think it is out of the question that they could have allied or been somehow influenced by this Cosina. But it doesn't. It seems like it is strange bedfellows for tieflings in the Infernal to be in bed with the Blood Kingdom and vampires. But stranger things.
Yeah.
Tilly kind of leans after a couple of ales. Don't you mean down the broken spiel area? Because that's what the Daedra lady from the one who you had your experience with told me. As I'm sure I thought I told you guys at the dancing band. Did I tell you, Rowan? I don't remember.
Use
wasn't
your
there.
words.
Oh, I thought the bear was very distracting. I don't remember if I
I remember the bear.
about it or not. It was a dancing bear. You
There was a
were
bear
there.
that danced. Yeah, remember that.
How come you guys didn't friend the bear and it's not a part of our group now?
We thought it would die,
Misha is-
like all the others.
Oh, okay.
But broken spiel.
Glass starts to drink heavily.
Remember how the other ones
Fluff and
died?
stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Rip fluff and stuff.
While this is happening, Rowan's going to take some moments to sort of confer with Wotan and cast her runes, and is going to sort of ask quietly, is this vampire hunting us?
You get a kind of muddled, mixed reading from it. It's not a definitive yes, it's not a definitive no.
Curse it. Well, Ryodan, do you want to try some more drugs sometime soon so I can get some more information?
If
Wow.
that's how that works, then yes, I do.
You're my guinea pig now.
Oh, do we need to
All right.
head back to the Silk Scabbard then, or?
Well,
I mean, I'll do
I think
anyway.
I'm heading back to. I mean, I'm going to bed.
I definitely
I
need
do
more
not.
sleep.
I
Sounds
have.
like I am too.
I have spent a lot of my magical ability to take. Would kind of like to recover some of it in case it is needed tomorrow. Not to mention, I can maybe adjust a little bit of what I'm. As we walk into there, I might adjust a little bit what I am carrying, what I'm packing, what spells I'm. He's trying to sound tough because he's a little drunk.
So it's like I
I'm going to bring the heat.
Yes, I want to bring the subtlety. Whereas, whatever. He starts drinking.
I have
Like explosions right in front of you.
I've
Right
said
on.
I'm long past my bedtime. But I will still be keen to perhaps observe any visions Ryodan has if I prepare something.
Can we
for
get
him
the
before-
mixture a little bit less on the killing me horribly side and more into the sort of the good stuff?
according to Daedra, you sound you liked it either way.
I could have liked it more. I'll be honest.
I can ease up on the nightshade.
Appreciate it.
Is the taste okay? Like, does
Oh
some
yes,
have-
yes. No, it tastes great, actually. Yeah. Good flavor.
Well, are you guys gonna stay here or?
No, we have a room at the
I'm-
Dancing Bear.
I've got to take my medicine.
I should
kettle
probably.
whistles.
I should probably
So-
bring him back to the silk scabbard so that we don't ruin anyone else's room.
Rowan,
I mean,
you
I
think
think-
if you were to replace the nightshade with poppy blossom, you might be able to make it a less violent sort of effect. And while it might have an effect on how he experiences the visions a little bit, since it's a bit more euphoric, it'll probably be a less unpleasant experience for him, at least less horrific, and might, it'll change things up. Hard to say exactly how it'll work out.
Okay.
We're doing some weird alchemical metaphysics here.
She's into
Sorry.
experiment, and she probably has some poppy blossom with her.
All right, so you guys, now it's going to take a while to do that. Probably not a thing you can do tonight now that it's after 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So you guys breaking for a long rest for the night?
Well, I'm gonna get Reardon back to the silk scabbard.
Okay.
Because I don't have any dry blood on me or some sort of remnants of it. So I'll get him back, and then and then I'm gonna go to bed. I'll be back at Kettle Whistles. If I'm not there in like 20 minutes, worry. I look at Glass.
Glaz is gonna head to D's just straight away. He's a little bit buzzed. He's a little bit. He's still a little bit injured. He got most of it back, but not all of it. And he kind of seeing his Kettle Whistles is not across the street, but pretty darn close, a block or two away.
Yeah.
He's gonna just sort of stumble his way there. Before he goes to bed, he might do some of research some of those things that you and I talked about, that list of different things, so I can talk more intelligently about stuff.
Right. Sounds good.
Tilly
Okay,
will head back with Rowan will head back with Tilly to the Dancing Bear.
All right. So
Hello,
everyone can-
I'm Tilly. I know you had a little bit too much of the raw meat, but just saying.
Yes, I've had a bit of a day, but I
A little mutton drunk.
It's okay.
I will
We'll
get
sing
all-
on the walk home. It'll be great. We should go though.
All right, so you're all
Please don't-
able to return to your places of residence and complete your long rest and wake in the morning. You might sleep in a little bit, as it has been a night and a half for at least some of you. But the next day dawns sort of cold and this dim gray with a thick overcast of late spring, early summer, and you find yourselves up the next day. You complete your long rest, get all your hit points back. You recover up to half of your maximum hit dice if you need to recover any of those.
and
Spell slots, all that business.
when Tilly's now not drunk, Rowan is just going to reprimand her a little bit. Please. What you did last night was reckless.
What are you talking about? What did I
You
do?
threw yourself at her. You were attacking her over my shoulders. You could have died.
I mean, I fought the blood. You're okay. You're right. I need some food. She goes down
Nice
to try to get some food. I don't think Rowan
Okay.
understands that Tilly only knows to thrust into battle. Tilly's like,
And
sure.
I would not forgive myself if anything happened to you.
Right, but it's my job. That's what I signed up, was to come down here and protect you, so you could deliver. Oh, I'm sorry, I got
I
such
don't
a bad headache. I
Uh,
need some air in the
can I,
dog a little bit.
Can I, I'm trying to see what would work here. If it will be a cure wounds or something else, if I can. get rid of her hangover.
Lesser restoration would
Yeah.
cure her hangover.
I'll do a lesser restoration on her, just like, oh, here, and just taps her forehead.
All right, so she mutters a prayer in the old dialect of the northern tongue, touches your shoulder, and you feel this cold wash through you, and it's like having a bucket of cold water splashed on you, and it just kind of washes the fuzz and the pain in your head and the churn in your stomach, washes it all away.
Ooh, that was the best cure I've ever had. I'll have to keep that on tap for next time. Thank you.
Well,
Well,
I don't
concerning
want
the
you
fight.
getting drunk all the time.
Well, I mean,
Please.
you're asking a dwarf not to get drunk. I don't know what to tell you.
I
It's probably going to be a problem.
Let's not give you reason to think so much.
But concerning the battle, you're just going to have to understand that, I mean, that's all I knew. That's what my father did. That's what I'll do. It's my job to protect you, so if it
Your
takes me
mother and
putting
your
my...
father, they would kill me again if they knew that. Let's just say they wouldn't be very happy if I delivered the corpse of their daughter to their doorstep.
Well, but my father is gone anyways, but my mother be proud that I fought in a good fight. I mean, that's what our family is all about. So, as long as you don't see me flop around like a fish and not doing anything, it should be fine. You know, as long as I put in a good fight, nobody will be mad.
Let's have you die in glory and not stupidity when the day comes. Then,
I would have it any other way, you know.
trust me, you don't want to be remembered for being stupid, because you're a lot more than that.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm the smartest, but I definitely will put in a good fight. You're right. You're right. All right, let's go get some food. Even though you made me not hungry, I still want some food.
I would like some bacon.
Hey, let's go. She's gonna like, why'd she tell me not to fight? I got to fight under her breath. I don't know.
All right. So you guys can finish up your breakfast, and you guys can reconvene as you like, and go from here.
Where are we reconvening? Did we discuss that? We did not.
I'm assuming
You
it's
guys.
Silk Scabbard, because we do need
Fuck
to
house.
talk to.
Back
To
to
the fuck house, Klaus.
Yes, that will make the most sense, as that is.
We're shining up
Well,
the bat
yeah.
signal which says "fuck house."
All right.
There you go.
I want Neil at one point in time to have just a compilation of how many times we said fuck house in this show.
Fantastic.
I don't.
Fantastic.
Fuck house.
I just hope that Dan
Cats.
eventually writes in some sort of German household into the game that's actually named like Fuchhaus. You know?
Yeah.
Which one? We don't know.
Hear that? Yeah. You hear that, Ben? Get on it. All right. All right. So yeah, you guys can all get back together.
I'll actually pop past the alchemical supplies man before reconvening there, just to stock up.
Okay, so you're going to run back by the Brotherhood of Alchemists and pick up a few ingredients. All right.
Yep.
They can probably hook you up with whatever you need. You need some stuff that's getting into some weird territory, but they can manage it. So, no problem.
I think Tilly, if is Tilly with you, Rowan, or did you split away from her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think so, yeah.
If Tilly's with you, then I think she would notice that some of the things you asked for they didn't have, and she would mention the fact that the book fetish definitely had some herbs and things, and I don't know if that's something you need, but I do know that there was some stuff there. Cloak seemed to be pretty intrigued by it.
I mean, well, we can go to the book fetish. I'm curious
Yeah,
about
but-
that place.
Yeah.
All right. Glaz, do you do anything else before heading to the Silk Scabbard? What's kind of your morning routine like?
Well, Glaz, of course, is going to be up bright and early to go to the kitchen and to have tea with Miss Kettle Whistle, and then we'll look longingly at the stove until she makes him something to eat, and then once Cloak makes his way out, he will probably have whatever enough made so that Cloak can usually probably pick something up, and I don't know, Cloak. I think you're a breakfast on the run person.
It depends. At this moment in time, probably because of all the things that were going on last night. So Cloak has probably been got up the same time you did, but he's doing his training with Puff at the same time, and then comes in and he's like, "Well, you ready to go?"
Yes, no, I think we should head out. We should definitely, we need to figure this out. And we probably should check on to make sure that everyone within Kaja's circle are still accounted for. I mean, I would hate to think that this vampire is going out picking people off one by one. Not to mention, I need to ask whether... I'm assuming that a Dampier, Riodan can be turned into a vampire spawn, but I don't know. I wonder if since they're half vampire, it's kind of like being immune, like the chicken pox.
Do you know what this sounds like?
He writes it down. He writes it down, like post-it note. Ask Riodan if he is immune to vampirism.
You know what this sounds like, though? It sounds like we're going to need to do some studying at the library. You know who's at the library?
No one. There is no one there that we need to concern ourselves about as a whole group to go there again. We do not need to do such a thing. He's blushing.
I mean, me and you can just go. I mean, all the other ones are really a distraction anyways, because we're like, what's this book doing? And then they knock down a bunch of shelves and we're like, God damn it. And then they kick us out for the day.
They are very distracting, but I would think that we want to go to head over to talk to the tieflings, yes? The Cloven Nine?
I look at Miss Kettle Whistle. Are we outside talking about this, or just talking about this in front of her?
I assume you guys were private. Yeah, I assume you guys were private.
To Silk Scabbard. Yeah.
I'd be like, and yeah, the gang members that are notorious in this town.
Who needs a hitman?
Yeah, we gotta do that too. Oh, should we all stick together for this one? I think we should all probably stick together for that one.
I think that we should probably stick together. This could turn dicey, and we might want to have a little bit of a show of force. Just we can go and we can all snap in unison or something. It'll be a good thing.
Yeah. I think so too. I don't want to split it up that time because, especially, I mean, tensions are high, and as I said before, we might be aliases with, not aliases, but accomplices or acquaintances.
We have no idea. It could be that the Cloven Nine has been infiltrated by vampires themselves, and we'll go in there and.
Can a tiefling be a vampire? Can every race be a vampire?
Well, yes. Well, that's another question we can ask. I would think so. Why would it? Well, yes, we know that because she was a tiefling. We fought the tiefling vampire.
Oh, yeah, no, she's a vampire spawn, though. I mean, that's yeah, okay. I might still be tired from last night. Who knows?
I'm imagining that we've sort of converged at the door of the Silk Scabbard now, and that Tilly and I have just overheard the end of this conversation.
Yeah, that's fine. They were walking and talking. So, by the way, when you guys pass by the the shrine to Saint Charon, you can see that the disturbance to the grave has been filled back in. It looks like, and you see a trio of watchmen at a nearby corner, just kind of keeping an eye around. You kind of just pass by them, maybe with a little pang of anxiety. Yeah, a little pang of anxiety quickens your pulse a bit, and you make your way to the Silk Scabbard, so everybody can head on inside.
Act natural.
Cloak Cloak is just like this. That's his
Very
natural state, with everyone acting natural, and he's just like, oh, God damn it.
Glaz
What-
looks
what
about
are you
as
talking
guilty
about?
as you could possibly look.
Are you talking about vampire spawn?
Gaz is like Glaz is blushing and like fumbling with his spell book to like hide his face. Oh, isn't this interesting? Yeah.
Pointing
much.
at the watch guards, like, what, over there? Like, over there. No,
Oh,
no,
boy.
don't point at them.
No, actually, I'd say it's very obvious. Normally, Glaz would be all about, well, what is the world that's happened over there? Let's go see. And he's like very much like, nothing has happened there. Nothing. There's nothing to pay attention to. Mind your own business.
All right,
He's like saying that to other people who are looking out on the street.
Right. So as you guys are kind of making your way past toward the silk scabbard, anyone who's paying attention, which is probably Glaz at least, since he keeps glancing over at them, can see that one of the trio of watchmen is watching you guys as you go, just like he follows you with his eyes as you head down the block.
Are we close enough in like audible shot, or is it just visible?
No, you can see like they're basically coming down the block at this point. So you can kind of hear Glaz babble from the street away, and and you can see them approaching the silk scabbard.
If we make eye contact, Tilly's like, "Morning, I've been learning to you." Yeah, all right. Just keeps walking.
It's rude to stare. She's just pulling her cloak up. Just because you don't see many raven folk around here.
I'm trying to get Glaz
Pigs.
inside.
Yep. So you
Pushing him
can
in.
Raylan's like at
usher-
the door. Come on in, everyone. Come on.
Tilly, where are you going? Come in.
Oh, you guys, come on.
All right. So you can feel the eyes of the watchman upon you as you slip into the foyer of the silk scabbard and finally make your way inside the club itself. It's early in the morning, so while it is open-ish, it's very low-key and subdued in there. There's not a whole lot of... There's really no patrons. You guys are basically the only ones there at this point, besides the staff. So, yep, you can get everybody
Right.
together and make your plan.
Mr. Riodan, I have some ingredients for your next concoction.
Excellent, excellent.
I can't
That is
believe
good
I'm
news.
enabling this. I cannot believe I'm enabling this.
Me neither, honestly, but I'm happy about it.
Who would have thought that a 200-year-old raven folk would be keeping you on a leash?
To the contrary, you're setting me free.
I didn't think I would be your type, honestly. She's pretending to be flattered.
All right.
Gods move in mysterious ways. More to the point, are we still bothered about the watch thing last night?
Yeah,
We dug
no,
up that
because
body
everyone
and
was
killed
so
her.
nonchalant walking down the way that they're all just staring at him.
I did think
Oh,
you
I
were
said good
walking
morning.
suspiciously when you came in.
Where can I report them for racist profiling? Because just because I am a raven folk does not mean I am a thief or a miscreant.
Well, in this
Kind of
case,
si-
they're right, though, aren't they?
Or
I
grave
mean,
robber.
you dug up a body and then killed her again. I mean, gotta hand it to them. They're pretty spot on with their profiling, if that's what they do.
I mean,
That's fine. All I'm saying.
then their bosses are going to probably be racist, because I don't really see raven folk here, and they're not going to be like, oh, our chief is a raven folk, and we got to, understand their rights. That's, we got nowhere to go.
And I come back to the fact that they're right. I mean,
Well, they don't
So,
know that.
5 for 5.
Drajan, the bartender, kind of shoots you guys a look and just shakes his head and goes back to what he's doing.
And Dershawn, this is how you make good tips. And then I slide a piece of gold to him.
So he just kind of shrugs, scoops up the gold piece, and says, "Yep."
The old shrug and scoop.
Yep.
Well, shall we make some? Shall we get back into the back room and start?
Finish that sentence, please.
Best part of waking up is putting drugs in Riordan.
The anticipation.
Yes.
Well, let's get our morning glory on.
Shall we start cooking, as they say?
How long is this going to be?
What's the plan here? I mean, this is an endeavor of ours to do this, and so Rowan can get that started and work on it. But
should we get the pot boiling and then we head out to the Cloven Nine?
And out of character question to you, Tosqual, did Glass mention that Frick was? Did he mention out loud that Frick was somehow in the circle of this potentially, or that he had been against the Cloven Nine? Because I don't think that Tilly would know, but
Tilly, when you guys met with Vandesi and Thrick, he mentioned that his people were having difficulties with the Cloven Nine, and apparently the Cloven Nine killed one of the Black Shields a while back, and that's caused some tensions between them that might be kind of ramping up.
Okay, then Tilly will. Should we ask Mr. Frick for help at all, or?
Love Frick.
No, that would just make it worse.
He's a great guy. I work with him closely.
It would be bringing a hornet's nest.
I mean, it would be a good distraction.
You'd be bringing a hornet's nest to a hornet's nest.
Hornet's nests get bad rap, honestly.
So we're going more dirt goblin nest than hornet's nest. That's what we're going? Oh, all right.
There's a drug called Hornet's Nest. It's really good.
Oh,
Of course it is.
It's really fuzzy and sharp brash afterwards.
With Puff Puff, can I leave Puff Puff with Miss Kettle Whistle? Because I knew we were going to Cloven 9 today. So that's one thing I want to do.
Yeah, no problem at all. She fusses over Puff Puff terribly and says, "Oh, of course, leave her with me. It'll be no problem. We'll have a little snack." And immediately Puff Puff is just like, she's as tall as D is, so she kind of like snuffles her giant dog head on the side of her neck and is like sniffing at her hair and woofling in her ears, kind of puffing her cheeks up, and just getting more and more excited the more D talks about what they're going to do that day.
I like to think it's at like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where she's like riding Puff Puff and it's slow motion. She's like,
it certainly could be, since she's set up for riding.
She is.
Yep. All right.
Glaz is going to have gone over to Drajan at the bar and asked for black coffee. He's not feeling after his battle last night.
You can smell the kind of rich aroma of it, and so apparently it's already been brewed, and he brings some out and fills you a mug and passes it over, and he sort of leans on the bar and says, "This is good stuff."
Oh, thank you so much.
Brought up from
last night.
Brought up from the Southlands. If you toss a horseshoe in there, it'll stand upright, so brace yourself.
Perfect. And Glaz starts drinking his coffee black.
Okay, it is incredibly flavorful, very strong.
Oh, yes.
So that'll be a decent pep, and will help him feel a little bit better. But his head is still pounding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you need some help there, Mr. Grazishan?
He's not sharing my
It will be fine. It is not debilitating. It is to remind me not to do that again in the future. It's better to learn the lesson. Bit once.
Does he still have his disintegrated wounds?
What's that about his disintegrated wounds? Sorry?
Are they still there?
I mean, he's got like the physical evidence of the wounds is still there, but it looks like he's recovered a fair bit from it. It takes hit points being what they are. He took a long rest. His hit points are recovered, but he does have still evidence of those wounds that are kind of bound up. And
Rowan's just like,
actually, with my Trollkin regeneration, wouldn't it?
Oh, actually, for him, yeah, they're basically gone. It wasn't fire. There's no sign of his wounds left.
Ron's
That's
just
right.
going to
That's right.
gently sort of put her hands up, like, may I have a look?
It's
Oh,
It's wonderful.
it is not a problem.
And she just sort of like pulling the top off of his shirt down, just like inspecting, and she has no tact.
If you didn't know that he had been that grievously wounded the night before, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Incredible.
Is Glad surprisingly ripped?
Please say yes.
How strong is
I imagine him surprisingly
How strong is Glad?
ripped.
He's got a 14 strength and a 16 constitution, so.
So yeah, he is thick. His
Thick.
muscles are fairly well defined, even though they're not necessarily like overdeveloped. They have a surprising amount of tone, and yeah, he's just very thickly built.
Like Raidan's like Rowan's going through his chest and his wounds. Like, yes, let me see if I can. Oh yeah, that's quite well healed, isn't it?
It is the regeneration, because I am Trollkin. It is very useful. Fire, not so good. But for other things, and he'll probably point to his ear, which probably still, the tip of his ear is gone from the dragon.
Yep.
That was, his ears were poking out the top of the water. It is healed, Rio. This is getting awkward.
Later than you think you want.
Whoa!
You think you
carried
do you
away
need
there.
Glads to help you with your morning dose?
I mean,
That was very enjoyable. Right, what are we doing?
If you'd like to polish some of the carnelians, because he has sort of like those knobby stone, because he's a stone hide, so he sort of has these. I polish them every once in a while. If you never mind,
I will.
No,
I think polishing my stone is probably not a good idea.
Fraser, don't let him polish your stone because that means something else to him.
Absolutely not. I'm a complete fiend.
Fantastic.
And Rowan's just sort of looking at Riodan, just beak slightly agape. Just lost for words.
All right, so are you going to try and cook up a dose of dream dust or whatever the hell you're going to manage him here?
Yep.
All right.
Put in some of that blood moss and get those
So-
flowers.
All of you see that there's that moment where Rowan whispers a short prayer to the Rune Father to draw on his knowledge to teach her something that she doesn't have already. So you can either get Poisoner's Kit proficiency or Herbalist Kit proficiency, your choice, either way.
I will go with Herbalist today, and her prayer in the Northern tongue is like, "Please forgive me, all Father, for using your insight this way."
All right. So let's go ahead and have you make a wisdom check with Herbalist Kit proficiency to see how well you can set this stuff up.
Okie dokie. So, is it wisdom anything else, or?
Wisdom with your proficiency because you're proficient in the Herbalist Kit now.
Okie dokie.
A 9.
I'm gonna use my.
Okay.
I'll use my natural 20 on that.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and burn that nat 20 off there if you would be so kind, Will, and that will be a much better batch.
Don't say I don't do anything for you, Riordan.
Yeah. So not only is this not going to, poison him. So are you wanting to tone down the horrific aspects of it that the last stuff had, that the blood moss extract had?
Yeah. Tone down the toning down the horrificness, but sort of keeping the opening of the mind to prophetic visions.
Okay. Cool. So not only will that succeed, I'll say that you also get a second dose out of this particular batch, but it will have to basically cook for the day. So tonight you'll have these 2 doses of whatever you want to call this. We can call it dream dust or something.
We'll figure out a name for it.
Sure. So in the meantime,
I prefer fuck dust.
You have to you go and
Okay.
ruin everything with your foul language?
I suppose
It's
that's
dust. And I mean, let's be honest. It's
I
fucking
mean,
great.
it's liquid.
Fuck dust. Well, imagine someone comes up to you on the street, someone like me, handsome, good-looking, intelligent, striking, humble, selling you drugs. And he says, guess what? I've got this great new stuff. It's called Dream Dust. Do I want it? No. Do you? Absolutely not. But then he says, actually, I've got this great new thing. It's called Fuck Dust. It's gonna fuck you up. You want it. I'm selling it. Vis-a-vis. It's called Fuck Dust. So,
I mean,
case closed.
I think that your example isn't quite spot on, as they say, given that you're not extremely humble, and the last time you acquired or sold drugs, you didn't necessarily leave a good impression.
But it wasn't Fuck Dust.
All right. So was your guys' plan to head to the Broken Seal and try and talk to the Cloven Nine?
Yes.
While
Was
the
it?
great debate
Yes.
of what to name the stuff is
Alright.
happening. So if that's what you guys were looking to do, we can do that. Or if you had something else that you wanted to try.
Well,
I'm all for
it's
Clover
important to
9.
go. But I do
Okay.
think we should maybe ask Daedra or one of the workers here to keep an eye on the door because I don't want anybody to get in there, all three of them.
I'm sure we
Well,
can
it's-
ask Kaija to lock the door.
Well, that's not till that night anyway. So you guys have the whole rest of the day before you can worry about that.
Alright. Never mind. Can't leave
Okay.
him alone, you know, like a
Before
child.
we go, can we just... Is Kaja around there?
You do not see her around. If you want to track her down, you could ask. If you want someone to go find her, you think they could do that?
Rowan will just go up to whoever's at the bar and just say, would you mind just keeping an eye on Kaja today? And send her our well wishes.
Sure.
I
She all right?
I worry for her health. The past 2 days, she's been in a terrible state of worry. What with Valen and all this nasty business with, and she sort of flicks her head at Riordan.
Right. He just kind of nods knowingly and says, "We'll keep a good eye on her. Don't you worry about that."
I'm like labeling bottles Fuck Dust now. It's like...
For
Trying to find out
last
the
time,
logo.
Fantastic.
It's
Gotta
not
be
called
brand.
fuck dust.
All right.
He's
So it's
branding it.
probably taken
Got marketing
Rowan.
plan.
It's taken Rowan and company a good while to get everything set up. So I'd say we're around about noonish at this point when you guys are getting ready to head back out into the street. As you're heading out there, Cloak and Tilly, you guys see a familiar face coming down the street. She is wearing a sort of dark red silk blouse and black pants with knee-high boots, and her lustrous honey-colored hair is just sort of negligently twisted up and pinned in place with a hair stick. But you recognize the woman from the book fetish.
Oh, is she walking this way?
She's walking that way.
Okay.
Does Tilly see her?
Tilly nudges Cloak.
What? Oh. Hi.
So she sees you just a half second after you kind of nudge Cloak, and he starts waving out to her, and she smiles, her dimples coming out in full force, and she quickens her step a little bit across the street and heads over to you, and she says, "Oh well, it looks like you're just on your way somewhere, but I'm glad I caught you. How are you all doing today?" And she sort of smiles politely and nods to the people she doesn't know.
I'm rolling insight on her because of mine and Glaz's conversation that we had.
Sure.
So I'm
Sure, no
very, very paranoid around her, but I'm like also like, oh.
Go ahead and make me a wisdom insight check.
5! No. God damn it, dude. I was really hoping I was going to get that crit because I ain't got anything to spend. So, shit.
Seemingly get more and more flustered with this woman around.
Yeah.
All right.
Glaz is just like, hello, how are you? I am Glaz.
It's nice to meet you, Glaz. I'm
I know
Layla.
you?
Oh, she works
No.
at the Bork Fetish.
Oh.
Or she works at the Bork Fetish. Not
Hello, Layla. He starts to blush.
So she either politely or fortuitously has kind of turned away from Glaz and is looking at Cloak, and she says, well, it looks like you're on your way somewhere, so don't let me hold you up, but that person you were asking about the other day, Phelan, I believe the name was?
Yeah.
I asked a few of my colleagues, and a few of them recognized his name.
Oh. What they recognize about him?
Just that he'd been in, and if you wanted to speak to Elendora, she was working when he came in.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
The fetish doesn't open until later, but she'll be on the front desk tonight. So if you wanted to come by and ask her about him, she might be able to tell you more.
Yeah,
JJ, what am I doing here?
Thank you, Raiders.
Raids.
I would say, I know. I was gonna stop by after we're done doing whatever. Maybe afternoon. I'll just stop by in the evening because I'm gonna see if you guys had some books, but I'll worry about that later on. But yeah, well, it was good seeing you. I hope I see you there.
She chuckles. She gives this just very faint little giggle, just this kind of silvery laugh, and she says, "I hope so too. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day." And she turns to everyone else and says, "It was nice to meet you both," and to Tilly, "Nice to see you again."
You as well.
Glaz wants to incite the flirting because Glaz is shocked if it is in fact real flirting.
All right, sure.
Rowan's
Anybody
Rowan's
who's
going to
suspicious of her,
insight, yeah.
feel free to make a wisdom insight check.
Tilly just
I am too.
assumes. She's
It's
just
what?
like,
I'm
Just
dubious
like,
of what's my girl.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Rowan. So, while it seems like, what are you curious about? What are you going for here? Are you going just seeing if she's on the up and up? Are you looking for seeing if she's lying about anything? What's your curiosity?
She's suspicious. What are her intentions with my girl Tilly?
Oh, it seems like she was just mostly just to everyone, she was being friendly and polite. She didn't seem to have any intentions of anything toward Tilly other than saying hello. She
And
looked
towards
like
Cloak.
she was very happy to see Cloak. That seemed genuine, and she was sincere when she was telling him about her colleague that might know of the name that he was asking about the other day. You get the hint that there might be a little something extra lurking under the surface there, like perhaps she was maybe expecting something, but doesn't seem disappointed that expectation went unmet.
Tilly will quickly imply that she's the owner of the store I was telling you about with the herbs and stuff you might want later.
Ah,
Hey.
Mr. Cloak.
Yes.
You're not going to follow her?
Oh, not till later.
You know that she was being sincere. She's I believe that this is what they call actual flirting and not just someone being nice.
It's like as we're like talking to her and she's having this conversation, Cloak like turns like beet red and it's like, we have something to do, and then just walks off.
All right,
I'm
there he goes.
assuming on Glaz's low insight that he has it completely wrong. It's like, that was not flirting. She was far too forward. She like talked to him like they were just like when you flirt, it is very awkward always. That was far too smooth. She's a
Do
very
not
good,
think-
very good liar.
Do you not think that is
That
awkward?
works.
And she's just pointing at
Cloak
Cloak.
is like,
Cloak, who's faced down a flame dragon with no fear, flees in terror across the street.
from gas.
Wait,
a
are we talking
woman.
about? Who's this? Who's that?
Layla
Riodan
just
wanders.
it's too late. We're already gone.
Riodan
Yes,
wanders
that-
out of the wanders out of the door. He got lost somewhere inside. As you
Mr.
guys
Cloak is being
make your way.
Being flirted with? Oh my goodness, my little boys are all grown up. I'll go wingman.
It was not flirting, I
Well,
tell you. It was
that'll
still
be
too
helpful.
smooth to be
Well,
flirting.
Hello there.
Yes.
I go and introduce myself to the slave.
So whoever it is, it looks like
She's gone.
whoever it was. Now that you've sort of come back to your senses and what's going on here, it looks like she's gone.
Damn.
You got
Yeah, but
you got
it's not like
distracted
they'd walk
talking to the
away.
bouncer.
So, just keep that
Mr.
in mind for later.
Glass-Chan. Mr.
I'll run
Glass,
after her. This is worth it,
Trust
honestly.
me.
This is the most exciting thing that's ever happened.
Oh,
Trust
good
me,
lord! All right.
I have seen many relationships in my time. I think I know flirting when I see it.
Okay, Riodan. Give me a wisdom perception check to see if you can track her down.
It's been a nat 20. This is the
Oh,
most
sweet.
important thing.
All right. So you
It's on.
target lock.
Fucking around.
You target lock on this slender young woman who's making her way down the street, and she's moving with a quick step, kind of like she's going somewhere with a purpose. But you're able to quicken your pace and catch up. Are you wearing your armor? No, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay, right. So you manage to catch up with her and kind of tap her on the shoulder, and she glances over with not a startle, but a little bit of surprise and curiosity, and she says, "Hello, can I help you?"
Excuse me. My name is Riodan. Oh, it's great. I think you know my friend Cloak.
Oh yes, and she brightens up a little bit. Yes, of course. I was just talking to him just a moment ago, actually.
Really? Yes, I noticed that, and you see, he's awfully shy. Cripplingly shy, in fact. With a surprising constitution.
She smiles a little bit broader, and she says, well, that's all right. He can... I'm sure he can take care of himself, and if he ever decides to come out of his shell, he knows where to find me.
Oh, yes. Well, if he's stuck in his shell, then it can take him some time to sometimes he sleeps in the shell. Come out of it occasionally, like a hibernating. I think it's a gnome thing.
She gives this sort of bright, almost musical laugh, and kind of glances across the street, sort of towards where your friends were. But Cloak has scurried the hell on; he's gone, and she doesn't manage to lay eyes on him. And she says, "Well,
Well, I
perhaps
just
I'll
wanted
come
to
by
come and
some-
say, yeah, because he's so nervous, to drop by sometime and say hi to me, because I'm not nervous at all. In fact, if
sorry.
anything, I've got too much confidence.
She smiles and says, "I'm sorry. My name's Layla. Where are my manners? It's nice to meet you."
Hey, Layla. Well, like I say, anytime drop by, especially if you have drugs.
Uh,
Oh my god.
She reacts to that very smoothly. There's maybe a hint of surprise immediately, but then it just kind of flows right on. And she says, "Well, that might be a little bit more of a taller order. Perhaps you should come see me at the book fetish sometime."
It's a date.
All right. Well, I've got to run for now, and hopefully I'll see you all around sometime.
I'll tell Cloak you said hi.
Please do. And she kind of turns on her heel, waves goodbye to you, and heads down the street.
That's a freeway waiting to happen. Raiden says to himself.
I swear to Wolfham. You've got a lot of nerve on you.
Good lord. All right. So, you guys can make your way across town back to the docks district to the Broken Seal, which
Yes.
is all the way over on the River Argent, next to the Puffing Bridge, which leads out to the pastures. And so you all make your way there, and the tavern is a waterfront dive, if ever there was one. The windows have apparently been broken several times, and they just stopped repairing them, and so now they just kind of close the shutters and say F it. Although the broken glass looks like it's been cleaned out of the frames at least. And there is a sign hanging out in front of the door that has, basically it looks like a magic circle, this sort of arcane symbol with these little glyphs and runes, and it's cut in half and kind of askew. And you can hear, even for just around lunchtime, you can hear pretty loud patronage on the inside.
Does Glaz recognize the magic symbol?
Make an intelligence arcana check.
It's dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So you recognize it as it's not exact, but it has many elements that one would expect to find in a magic circle, a protective barrier to keep otherworldly creatures out or to hedge them in, depending on how you create the circle.
And it's broken. I like it.
Is it
And it's
like
broken.
for decoration, or is it like a functional one?
I mean, so generally those circles would have to be drawn on the ground, and that would mark the boundary
Right.
of the protection. So it's clearly just for decoration, and it looks like some
Right,
some key elements were left out and are just sort of artistic interpretations, so that nothing is accidentally invoked up on the sign.
Right. Don't worry, anyone. It's not a real magic circle. Glaz points out to the group.
What do I know about this bar?
Obnoxiously.
So it is, like I said, it's a waterfront dive, and it's also a gang bar. You know that the Cloven Nine hang out here, and so all sorts of nasty shit goes down. But you know that a lot of that nasty shit is available for hire. So
Yeah.
it's also
Well,
a
that
place
makes it
where
better.
it's also a place where other tieflings of lower echelons of society will come and hang out, even if they're not direct members of the Cloven Nine.
Okay. The only thing I want to do while we're in there, it's like passively, if I hear Infernal, I don't want to react to it. I just want to listen to it and understand what they're saying, and then see if it's pertinent information. But if anyone talks Infernal with me, I'm not going to react. If I have to roll a deception, just let me know.
Okay, so you're going to pretend you don't understand any of the Infernal, but you're going to keep an ear out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no problem. No problem at all. So you guys head in?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So you make your way into the Broken Seal. Sorry, did you say something, Moth? You wanted to do something?
I was just going to look at Tilly and say, keep your wits about you, and
Only if they do. Aye.
and don't let your eyes wander.
My
I know
eyes
what you-
wander. I don't know what.
I
you're
know
talking
what
about.
you, and that goes for you too, Riodan. I know what you're both
but-
like.
What?
I don't think there's going to be any dwarves in here.
Sorry, I was looking at someone.
She's a dwarf on dwarf
What?
kind of girl.
That's right.
Oh, but she's a girl on girl kind of girl too.
Aye.
I mean, wait, does it have to be a... Well, I mean, it's like Riordan. Riordan, if it has a pulse, or sometimes not even have one.
Nothing like Riodan, thankfully.
That was a
She just
very
trudges.
dark day. Like, I'd appreciate it if we didn't bring that up all the time. One of my lowest points.
Jesus.
I'm
All right.
I'm sure that if it didn't
That-
have a pulse, he would also try it.
That turtle
All
never
right,
had
so-
a chance.
Glaz is trying to just keep to really focus on the magic circle and not pay
So-
attention to what they're all saying.
So you guys finally finish your chat, and you make your way into the Broken Seal. So inside, it is kind of a hellhole bar. It doesn't look like it's been super well cleaned recently, if ever.
I see what you did there.
Yep. And there is a smell that permeates the place, and it even kind of wafts out of the door as you approach up to it and go inside. It is the faintest smell, almost like rotten eggs, of burning sulfur or brimstone.
Home.
Just faint, ever so faint. Actually, yeah, Cloak, it is a little... something about the vibe of this place is equal parts disturbing and nostalgic.
Oh, this is like my hangout now. I love this place.
So you head inside, and there's loud conversation. There's clattering of mugs and tankards and plates. You can see drinks being ferried about, and you can see more tieflings in one place than you have ever seen anywhere else in the city, or anywhere else for that matter. There are skin tones ranging from pasty, almost like this bruised blue, to rich, fiery crimson. There are horns. Their eyes are almost all just pure white, no pupils or irises at all, and sometimes that white ranges to different colors. It's always very striking. The bartender is sort of a grizzled, old, wizened-looking tiefling with these little, like, stubbly sort of horns that poke up above his eyebrows and run back in ridges along his skull, and his head is either shaved or has long since gone bald. And his skin is this... You ever seen those mushrooms that turn into this just nasty, dark orangish brown slime? His skin is that color. This sort of ochre, and he looks at all of you when you come in and just kind of sweeps his gaze across you, and his eyes are pure black. They almost look like just holes into his skull.
Water,
Everything's
please.
ruined. Is he looking?
And then drinks for them. 1 mead, 3 ales. No, yeah. And then a water.
So he kind of sucks his teeth. And when his lips part, you can see that they're all pointy, almost somewhat reminiscent of a shark's, and he begins fetching the drinks you ordered.
You know, my good sir, there's a lovely mushroom, a fungus that grows up in the Feldmire where I'm from. That it looks just like your skin.
He kind of stops, turns around, and blinks his pitch black eyes at Glaz, tilts his head, and says, "It's nice," and then turns his back on him and starts filling cups.
I think
In a few moments, you guys have your
smiles to himself.
in a moment. You guys have your drinks, and you can pay for them if you like, Cloak.
I put 1 gold on. How much is it?
Let's see. 2, 3. I'd say silver and 5 copper.
Okay. I would do my palming thing where I'm like, oh, here you go, and then hold his hand, and then put that gold coin in there. As a quick question, who do I talk to about individual called Ibide? And like looking him dead in the face, but very quietly, and then not like.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a charisma persuasion check with advantage for multiple reasons.
One of these days.
Cloak.
10.
10. All right. Because you paid him off, that lowered the DC, and 10 is successful. So he kind of closes his fingers, which are like spindly and hot. He is just hot to the touch. It's he feels feverish. It's a little striking, and he takes the gold from your palm, kind of scrapes his nails along your palm as he grabs it, and he says, "Why don't you have a seat? We'll see if someone knows something that can help." And he kind of tucks his hand into his pocket.
I'm sitting at the bar with the water, like looking at everyone. It's like, hey, what's up? Hi.
So a couple of people just sort of look at you. One of them does a little bit of a double take, and kind of looks you up and down. And it is a blue-skinned tiefling with these ivory horns that just kind of stick almost straight up from her head. And she says, "You're far from home, aren't you, Niemheimer?"
Yeah, but I go where the money is.
Don't we all? And she kind of goes back to her business. After a few minutes, the bartender kind of comes over near you and like glances very poignantly with his eyes and sort of does a little chin thrust over your shoulder. And you turn and look where he's beckoning, and you see a burly, muscular tiefling who comes forward and points to you and then beckons.
Okay, and I jump down and walk over just like nonchalantly. Like, come on, guys.
Are we? Oh, okay.
All right.
Tilly stands a little
Cloak
bit.
is oddly like, this place is like a shithole. It smells like shit. It is like there's a bunch of evil tieflings, and he's oddly like calm and happy. He's like, yeah.
So there are not just tieflings here. You see humans. You see a dwarf. But yeah, tiefling very high on the population breakdown. So you head over to the beefy fellow who beckoned you over, and he kind of sweeps his glance over all of you, and he says, "Follow me."
JJ, what am I doing here?
And he leads you over to a door and takes you into a back room. And in there, it's kind of spacious, but most of it is taken up by a large round table, and there is a sort of tall, slim-looking human with this like bronzed skin and long sort of flowing black hair that runs down and kind of like cascades over his shoulders. It's just very like, it looks tussled, looks effortless, but probably took him 3 hours to get it just the way he wants it. And he is swirling a brandy snifter, and the liquid inside is kind of thick and leaving this sort of filmy residue on the inside of the glass as he swirls it. And he sort of gestures with it magnanimously toward the open seats at the table. And the big bruiser who led you in says, "I'll be right outside," and then closes the door. And so the fellow across the table says, "So, I understand that you're looking for Eyebite. I'm afraid he's not available at the moment, but I would be only too happy to engage as intermediary. Please."
JJ, what
brings
am
you?
I doing here?
What's your name?
My name is Valis.
Okay. So at this time, I'll look at him and be like, "So, wait, who's the dead girl that we talked to?"
Akta, A-K-T-A.
Akta. Okay. And Phelan was a tiefling as well, right? Or he was the
Phelan is
vampire?
a human. Phelan's a human.
Oh, he's a human. Okay. Keeping all these races correct. Recently, it came to our attention. I'm looking. I was hired to find out what happened to a certain individual. He worked with Akta, a tiefling that was murdered like a week ago or so. And we're just. I just want to inquire about that a little bit, and I don't want to take up too much people's time.
Okay, so when you mention Akta, he frowns deeply and stops swirling his drink for a moment and then takes a sip. And he says, "Yes, unfortunate business. I assume you know at this point that Akta was found deceased not long ago."
Yeah. So... we did know that. Also, some recent events, and we know what kind of business they were into. Akta was the dealer, and Phelan was, the supplier, I guess. But what kind of what was Akta's like hangouts, or did you know Phelan yourself?
I didn't know this individual you speak of. I can't speak for any of the others, but I could pass this information along. And what is it that you wish to do? You're wishing to locate this Phelan? You think he had something to do with Octa's demise?
No, they were
Well-
partners.
Partners. That would make sense, I suppose. He was probably her supplier then.
Yeah.
We
Interesting.
believe we have
Takes
reason
another
to,
long drink.
we might know who is responsible for her demise.
Indeed.
Would
That
be of any use
information-
to you?
That information would certainly be of some interest at least. And he just sort of lets that hang in the air.
I look at Rowan.
Did we know, was the vampire's name Cosina?
Cosinia.
Did we?
And
Cosinia.
you suspect that, that's who Riodan's little drug-induced vision was all about. And then, she was flailing him with the lash. And then, this person is dead who had the lash and was killed by a vampire. Pretty easy to make the connection.
Well, we have reason to suspect that a certain vampiric figure named Cosinia might have been behind your colleague's demise.
A vampire in Zobek. That's interesting. That's new. It's not
Can I roll
one we've
insight on
dealt
that?
with before. Sure.
19.
Nice. You think that he is surprised by that and disturbed.
Okay.
And we have no love for the Blood Kingdom amongst us. And I believe that would go for you as well, especially now that they are in some way responsible for the death of your compatriot.
She was an acquaintance, nothing more. What is it that you want from us?
Well, I was more curious. What did Octa deal?
She dealt in many substances.
Which one specifically?
Rowan's
As I
covering
said-
Riordan's ears.
As I said, many.
Okay.
Were you interested in one in particular?
Sidebar, we've got to talk about fuck dust later.
He just kind of quirks an eyebrow at that.
Not a lot of
small,
dust,
Riordan.
whole lot of fuck.
What was
Riordan.
What was her last supply that she was dealing out, or did she always just have many substances?
As I said, she was an acquaintance.
Okay. It's just I'm asking those questions because that will help get in the mindset of what Phelan might have been creating for her, so I can kind of locate him and find out if he's dead or not. Because he's been missing for a week, so I'm pretty sure he's dead. But I got to find out.
So you wish to locate this individual,
Yeah.
and you say you don't
We hear
know
that
whether whether he is alive or dead.
Well, I mean,
Hold
I
on.
just need to know.
We have heard that you offer divination services sometimes, and could perhaps assist with us to maybe divine what has occurred to this individual that we are looking for.
He smiles and says, "Why, I do believe that we do know someone who has certain talents among those arenas. Something might be able to be arranged if you're trying to find this individual. What is it that you can offer us?"
What would you like?
Oh, there are many things I like, I suppose. And any offer, of course, will be subject to approval by my associates once I bring your offer back to them. But they would be interested in influence in certain arenas of the city. If you wish to be base about it, coin is always welcome, depending on the sums we're referring to.
Coin, influence, blood, all of that.
Mm-hmm. What else is there? It makes the world go round, my dear.
Well, information, of course, is a commodity as well.
It certainly can be.
Oh, this is a player knows he shouldn't do this, but Glaz probably would. I'm gonna do a wisdom to see whether or not whether Glaz keeps his mouth shut.
Okay.
Of course, it comes up even odds. Damn it. What if I assume that you are in the business of information that you can profit off of?
Yes, I'm listening.
Perhaps we could tell you where some illegal religious activities are taking place within the city that you could capitalize on.
He kind of wrinkles his nose and says, "Oh, that's dangerous business. I don't know that we wish to involve ourselves that directly with the law."
Understood.
I'm trying to think what influence Cloak has, and I don't think I know I have the most influence of the group, but I don't think I have that much influence he's looking for.
You have the highest status, but he's looking at things like bribing key members of the Watch or blackmailing them to be able to get them to take pressure off whatever their dealings are. He's looking for maybe who knows, could be contacts with smugglers, any sort of service that you might be able to do or hook them up with to make what they do easier or better.
They're at odds with Thrick's group, aren't they?
That's what you hear, yeah.
Is there any way that we can perhaps facilitate a better relationship with other gangs? Take some of the pressure off?
Interesting. Go on. What are you offering?
Well, Cloak, you seem to have the best in with them.
Who?
Thrick.
I mean, what? What are we talking about right now?
Well, we have some dealings with, not me specifically, but rather my associates, whom have been in the city far longer. But we have some dealings with Mr. Vandessian Thrick and his associates. If we could facilitate some kind of easing
the
of
Black
pressure.
Shields.
Aye.
You're friends of the Black Shields, then?
I mean, I'm not really a friend of
I don't work for
many
either.
people.
So
Me and Frick are really tight, yeah.
Oh, Riodan.
So his
ugh.
his expression sours a great deal at that, and he says,
Riodan is an outlier and should not have been counted.
I mean, he is a
Yet
drug
here I
addict.
am.
And
Well,
he
I
likes
can
booze.
I am the
Appreciate-
drug addict.
"Well, I
And
can
up-and-coming
appreciate
salesman as well.
Well, I can appreciate your attempts at damage control." And he just kind of rolls on and looks over toward Cloak and Riodan. "Explain to me why I shouldn't have you all killed right now."
Better the devil you know. Why would we bother lying to you? You're someone of influence and power. You'd be able to see immediately if we were lying to you about such things. Look into them at the very least, and then have us killed for lying to you later. May as well be upfront about things.
Have you heard about the events last night?
Last night? No. Not much
Well,
interested.
this morning, I was a little bit nosy. There was something happening at the graveyard up there. Turns out that there's a body that was dug up, and it was impaled with wood through its heart, which sounds strangely familiar of someone being vampiric of some sort. And money to none, I would suspect that might be someone's grave that you know that we're both all talking about right now.
Wonderful. What is it that you can offer us with the Black Shields?
Oh, I can't offer anything. I don't know why that even came up.
What would you desire? Some kind of conversation, some kind of truce, an easing of tension.
So you're claiming to me that you have an understanding of some sort of why they've been threatening our people?
Well, yeah.
I believe that is something that we are getting to the bottom of. And I believe, maybe not so directly, but someone has incited tensions. Perhaps for their own gain, perhaps unwittingly.
His
gang war.
His eyes narrow, and you can see he's a little bit agitated. If you can arrange a meeting between one of our representatives and Thrick himself, then perhaps we can do business.
I believe that can be arranged. But you must... I suppose there must be some understanding here. No weapons.
I'm an honorary member of the Black Shields. Not sure if I told you guys this, but, so I can say, we'll play fair. Me and the boys.
You're not a member.
No, I am.
If you have drugs, can you literally be a member of the Cloven Knight? Do you have drugs right now?
Yeah, I'm dual citizenship. Let's go for it.
He waves that question away, and he says, If you could convince Thrick to meet us here for a sit-down, then we will do what we can to locate this individual you seek.
I'm going to roll a persuasion.
For what?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at it and be like, no, we have to do it somewhere where neither of you guys have control.
I mean, you
roll
wouldn't send
persuasion on that.
your people over to his quarters, would you?
Let's all go to the fuck house.
14?
Fuck dust.
I suppose you can propose a neutral location that will be agreeable to both parties. And he kind of smiles a little wide. And his smile, his teeth look just, that just the other side of too perfect? That's how his teeth look.
Oh, okay. I just go, the fuck house, Silk Scabbard. That's a...
the Silk Scabbard.
Excuse me? You have something you want to say?
All right. If you can arrange it, we shall call that fair payment for a divination drawing up the location of your missing friend.
So do you actually know the location of
I don't appreciate the attitude,
our associate?
Or
are you simply defining?
No, I don't know where he is. I know people who may be able to discover it.
There are spells, but they are very specialized, that they can be cast to try to scry upon or to divine what might have occurred. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and he starts waving sort of hands in the air, and as he's doing so, he's trying to disguise that he is casting Detect Magic.
I can't believe you're
So that has
explaining to me.
a verbal and somatic component to it.
Let
so
me double
that's
check.
going
I
to
think
be,
I thought it was just somatic. Oh no, it's
Okay,
verbal as well. No, he wouldn't.
Yeah.
He could. It's verbal and somatic, so he would have to start talking
So,
words. And so
what
I
you
thought it was. For some reason I thought it was just somatic.
What you could try to do is you could try to do it subtly when his attention is on someone else.
Okay. I think I'll try that.
Rowan,
So that will require, I think we'll call that a dexterity
Rowan's-
sleight of hand
JJ,
check.
what am I doing here?
Rowan's going to just.
I'll give you advantage. I'll give you advantage because Rowan is trying to run interference.
Okay. Advantage on a sleight of hand. Well, it might. Let's see. Come on. You know what? I got one. I'm gonna burn it at 20.
You're burning
For
a 20.
something like this,
All
just
right.
for curiosity stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
The big thing that
All
he's trying to do, he wants to see if this guy's used disguise self or has an illusion on himself.
Okay, so I will say that you are successful in subtly casting your spell. You time it very well with the distraction provided by Rowan, with Cloak sort of pressing him to and negotiating to try and solidify him on picking a neutral location that the Cloven Nine doesn't control for this meeting, and you manage to cast your spell. So mark off your spell slot, and immediately you can see an aura of magic flare around him.
Illusion
and
magic.
It is illusion. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. I know I can't penetrate through it. Then a quick glance around just to see if I see anything else.
Now
in the aura.
that you know that there's an illusion there, you can make an intelligence investigation check to try and pierce it.
Oh, to pierce it? Ooh, nice.
Mhm.
Arcana, I'm sorry, or...
Intelligence
what you said.
investigation.
Gotcha. Come on, buddy. 14.
14. I believe for this spell that will be sufficient. So as you're watching, it's not like the spell drops or anything, but you notice these momentary flickers, almost like frames, like miscellaneous frames spliced into a film, where the image that's sitting before you kind of flickers out of existence and you see something else there in its place. And what you see is a corpulent, just kind of fat-bellied individual. It's a man with this pasty mauve skin and these scarified glyphs and runes and script all over his chest and his stomach, radiating around his belly button. He's wearing this kind of blue velvet mantle, but no shirt, and then like almost like a long skirt, sort of a lower robe from his waist down. And he has white, bone white, it looks like they would be stag's antlers or horns, but they're trimmed and kept short down to his bald head. And that you just catch like glimpses of it now and then, and you're kind of able to put it together.
Do I recognize the glyphs and writing on that pale mauve skin?
It looks like infernal script.
Okay, gotcha. I wouldn't know whether or not he's demonic because I don't have that type of stuff. I need my paladin for that.
I mean,
So,
I would
cool.
tell you right
Thank you.
now, he's a tiefling who's under the effect of an illusion.
Gotcha. He's a tiefling. He's not a demon. Okay.
He is not a full-blown demon or devil or anything like that. He's not a fiend. All right. So, with the result of your persuasion check, he sort of leans back and he drains the last of his snifter of brandy and sets the glass on the table, and he says, "Very well. If you can secure us the word of Tyron from the silk scabbard, that we will be afforded neutral space, then we will agree to this.
Okay.
And of course, the assurance of Frick himself."
Well, no love lost there, I guess. But yeah. Where is Ibert gonna be there?
He kind of rolls his shoulders in a shrug and he says, I'm certain I can't say. I'm sure that the council will make their decision upon which representative to send.
I mean, we have a little
Well, that
promises we're
sounds-
having to follow through with, and you're giving us very light detail except for just showing up. So maybe you could do a little sway to help out. Just saying, putting our necks on the line here a little bit. Just saying.
That sounds quite unfair.
I don't
for
know
them
who
to
will be
send
selected.
It sounds unfair for them to send their head of operations and for you to send whomsoever the council chooses.
He spreads his hands. I shall make your grievances known when I deliver your offer.
This is a gang, remember. It's not like,
I do understand that.
On to the pitch. Number
Billy
2
stretches
is for
and
Flirt
casually
House.
slaps Riordan across the back of the head. Oh,
Whack!
For the last time, it's not called. And Rowan will also laugh the back of the head.
Well then, if that is agreeable at the moment, then I think we can go about our separate ways. And I await word that Thrick and Tyron are agreeable to this, and then we will see about securing your information.
We shall send a raven when we have more information or an agreed upon dates and terms, or if there are any changes.
Now, since I'm feeling in such a giving mood, would you like to set the stage, so to speak, for your divinations to commence on the instant that we receive our positive word from your endeavors? That way we don't have to arrange another meeting, delay further and further. All of that, you understand.
I mean, that would be a smart idea. I look at everyone.
Wonderful, wonderful. So he reaches under the table. He takes out a black iron bowl and a knife with a long curved blade and a handle wrapped in some sort of strange leather. And he slides it across the table and then says, if one of you would be so kind as to fill the bowl with your blood, that shall be all we need for the offering.
Well, who's going to...
Oh, so as soon as someone... come on. You guys want the divination?
Oh, for fuck's sake. She'll just take out her dagger and slice.
All right. So as you reach for your dagger, he says, up, 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 if you please, the implements provided.
As you wish. Takes that.
He smiles broadly again. All right, you run the blade across your wrist or your palm, and you begin to bleed into the bowl. It looks like if he's talking about filling the bowl, this is going to take quite a bit of blood. So I'm going to say that you lose 10 hit points due to blood loss for the amount of blood he wants to take from you. So after you finally finish, he just sort of leans forward a little bit, steeples his fingers, and is just like, very good, yes. Yes, Glazishin?
Is my am we still within the 10 minutes so that my detect magic is still up? Is the knife
totally.
and the bowl magical?
They're not.
What kind of magic specifically on the knife?
They are not. They are not magical. Sorry, I missed a cutoff.
I'm sorry. I thought you said they were. I'm like, I thought you were saying,
Nope.
yes. You were saying, yes, it's up. Sorry.
Nope.
Like, oh shit, we just something bad just happened.
No, the implements are not magical. So after you bleed into the bowl, he sort of beckons for it, asking you to slide it back over. And when you do, he takes them. He takes out a cloth and very carefully cleans the knife and sets the little handkerchief aside, and then says, "Well, then I think you have work to do, and I await your good word."
That sounds good to me. I start kind of like...
Good.
Oh, I kind of just start ushering people out.
All right. As you make your way out, as soon as you turn the door handle, it is locked. Chicka, 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 chicka. And the fellow across from you smiles again, and then you hear a click, and the door opens with that giant bruiser of a tiefling there, kind of standing aside to let you out. And Valus says, "It has been an absolute delight to meet you all."
And so,
mock curtsy.
as everyone's like walking out and like a cloak's ushering him out, he would just kind of like let everyone kind of go, and he would like kind of walk back to Valus and like kind of sit up in the stool, and he's like, "Yeah, I might want to come back later and talk to you guys. If that's cool."
Certainly.
Okay. So even if this deal doesn't go through, we'll talk about that later. But
Ta-ta then. And he
devil's
snaps
in
his
the
fingers.
details, and then he leaves.
He snaps his fingers, and the big fella closes the door behind you. And that is the last you see of Valus or the Blood. So, I assume from here you guys are going to want to try and arrange to get the Black Shields and the Silk Scabbard on board with this whole plan.
Yeah. As soon as we're like leaving the bar and all that, I'm like, "You guys are the worst negotiators. You don't tell them we're part of the other gang."
I didn't say anything the whole time. I didn't know anything about it.
That's
Well,
why
fine.
we should not have brought Riodan if that was the case.
He didn't. As soon as the Black Shields came up, that's where it reminded him that he was like, "Oh, I like that guy." And then we were all of a sudden in a bad position. We could have just been like, "Hey, we'll give you 10 gold to do this divination thing," and not work for the information. We could have been old school with it. No, you don't say we're part of the other gang, and then no.
Worked out really well for me, I have to say. I'm excited about Fuck Dust.
All right.
For the last time.
So,
It was not
who
called
would like?
Fuck Dust.
So you guys can attempt a charisma persuasion check. One to get the owner of the Silk Scabbard on board with allowing this sort of sit down and meet up between two rival gangs to happen in his place, and one also with Vandesi and Thrick to convince him to do this at all. So how would you guys like to go about that?
Who does
we'll
Strick
send
like?
Cloak.
Well, here I go, everyone.
persuasion.
This is going to be for
I can
the
roll
Silk
my
Scabbard.
-1 if you want.
This is going to be for the Silk Scabbard first. I'm going to throw in 10 gold with it as well. I already have advantage, but I kind of want to give them money in advance. 14.
Okay, I will say the 10 gold is sufficient to reduce the DC by 1, which means you succeed. You managed to catch. You managed to catch Tyron in his long, his long black coat and his felt cap and his silk clothes underneath. And you catch him long enough to get his attention, and the clink of coins changing hands certainly convinces him to listen to what you have to say. At first, he seems none too thrilled about the idea, but when you sort of explain that you've got peaceful dealings with both of them, he knows Thrick. Thrick is a regular at the Silk Scabbard, and so you manage to convince him to offer up one of the more spacious rooms for your guys' use. As well as to have his security staff on alert that things will be potentially dangerous.
Yeah. And then Thrick.
So do you guys want to do you want to do anything to try and sweeten the deal for him?
I don't know if Reardon wants to.
I would Glaz would
Try to-
suggest that we offer to do a job for him.
We're going to have to do several jobs for him. Yeah, we'll offer to do work for him. To sweeten that
This
deal.
is so bad that we owe him a favor.
All right, so you're going to basically offer him the exchange of a favor for doing this.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we're coming up towards the end of our time tonight, so we're not going to dig into full.
Oh
yeah, very
20.
nice, very nice.
But we still
All
offered
right.
the favor, so
So he seems reticent. He seems reticent at first when you bring the idea to him, but the more you talk, and especially when you suggest that it might be a third party trying to play them off against each other, because yeah, I mean, the demeanor of the individual that you met with in the Broken Seal certainly wasn't one of someone who was deliberately trying to antagonize the other gang. Now, maybe he doesn't have any knowledge of what's going on, or maybe he's on the up and up. That's hard to say. But it seems like that, plus the offer of a future favor to the Black Shields is, or well, I should say to Thrick himself, is enough to tip the scales in your favor, and he will agree to the meet. And so after that, you can send word to the Broken Seal that they have accepted your terms and let them know when this meeting is going to take place. And so the response comes back that your divination will commence immediately. So that is probably the majority of that day. You guys running around doing legwork, making things happen.
How's my concoction going?
Your concoction that night cooks up just fine, and as I say, you have 2 doses of a hallucinogen with, potential prophetic properties.
Well, one is for Ryodan.
Okay.
Can we find out the divination?
We can,
today?
Yes. So, several hours after you send word to Valis, you get a message carried by a courier who seeks out Cloak at the Silk Scabbard. And so there is a parchment that is sealed and delivered to you. You break it open, and it is a note signed by Valis that says... Hang on. It tells you Phelan exists beneath Zobek.
Shit.
Search him out in the arms... one second, sorry. I forgot I'm blanking on the term. Oh, it's not an angel. Search him out in the arms of the mummified monk of Morena.
Oh, good. I'll give a tip to the courier. Like, I'll give him a couple silver.
No problem. And there's one last line there.
Yes. What is that last line?
Yep. Beneath the Corey Tanners. I'll write that out for you.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna write that out. I'm gonna mute my mic.
I'll write the whole thing out, yeah.
I got it.
Well, if you write it out, I'll copy and paste it and then put it in my notes.
Yeah.
Where's that jetpack? There we go.
So there you go.
Where is it? Or you put it... there we go.
Cool.
That's just Neil saying he blames Will. Beneath the Corey Tanners. Okay, there we go.
Roleplay, blame Will for everything.
Yes. Hey, hold on.
And you wonder why I don't change the trailer video.
Yeah, right. There we go.
I mean, I didn't say we were blaming you for bad things. We blame you for making a fantastic channel full of great roleplay shows.
I accept zero responsibility.
It was the arms of the mummified
Monk of Miranda.
chat.
It's in the it's in the Zoom the vMix chat.
Oh, it is. Okay, I see it.
Yep.
Just copy that whole thing.
There you go. So, are you? I assume Ryodan is planning to huff some fuck dust tonight. Then
I certainly am gonna have some fuck dust.
Before you start, Tilly, Laz, I require one of you to. This shall sound awful. Observe. Make sure nothing happens to us.
Tilly immediately pats Glass in the back. See you later. Walks to the bar.
Was
Wait, what?
you're going to need to be our safety net.
Wait, you all? Oh, you all are.
There is a second dose.
Okay. You all have fun now, kids.
You're going to need to observe, take notes, keep us safe. Should anything...
Tilly shouts, "You're gonna learn so much! I can't wait to hear all about it!" Me.
Just make sure he keeps his hands off of me, please. If at all possible.
Trust me, it's not my hands you need to worry about, it's the tongue. It's just hensile.
Oh, I haven't set
All
far
right.
enough away. Scoots
Would
down
that be
the bar.
like looking at the inside of a pillow?
Look.
Yes, an alligator's tail.
All right.
I'm sorry, I'm talking to this courier.
All right.
So, I believe that is where we're going to leave it off tonight, and we will kick off next week
Yes.
with
This is going to be such a fun experience.
No,
yeah.
next
And
week is going to be
Explain all this.
next week is going to be Fear and Loathing and Zobek.
Yeah, a little
I just
bit, a little bit.
imagine them sort of like crossing arms, going 1, 2, 3 down the hatch.
Oh, so the plan is you're going to take the other dose as well.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. All right.
That's why I need
Oh,
someone else
that's
to watch.
gonna be fun.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why
Were
I
you not?
That's why I need
Glass
to
was
glass
picking
shot.
up on that.
Doing
No.
drugs with
Yeah.
Granny. Love it.
Yes.
Do.
Ooh, alrighty. Well, on that bombshell, I guess that's where we'll end tonight's episode of the World Tree Bones. If you guys enjoyed it, let us know. You can follow the show yet, hit the follow button and join us. It's been a very fun episode. If you haven't yet checked out Kobold Press in the world of Midgard, you need to go and do so over at koboldpress.com. Check out all the Midgard books, materials, PDFs. It's all good shit, and you're going to have a great time playing your own campaigns at home or creating your characters with them. Holy shit. Yes, tomorrow we're back, of course, at 1 o'clock Eastern for Call of Cthulhu, 4 o'clock Eastern for Warhammer, and 7 o'clock Eastern for Star Trek Adventures to join us tomorrow for a big old day of roleplay. But let's get around to cast and crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? Where can we find you guys online? Let's give away a sort of tabletop loot dice as well, because we're feeling generous, and we do it every day, rather. So, exclamation point loot in the chat. We'll be in for a chance to win. But let's start with Dan. Dan, how was tonight's episode of The World Tree Burns for you?
Oh, it's always great. I dig it. I'm never sure which direction things are going to take. I always have prep, and we sometimes get there. Next week is, next week things are going to happen. So, it's not like we need all these drugs for the adventure. But once you get locked into a serious drug collection, the tendency is to push it as far as you can. So, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Dan_Dylan_1. I love talking D&D, and I'm excited to see we have potentially a lot of action happening next week. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff. And Toll School, how was tonight's episode for you?
Always fun to play Glass and to find out some more of these mysteries and explore more of Zobek is always one of my highlights of journeying through Midgard with our buddy Dan. And stuff and things and stuff happened. And so that's cool. You can find me all over the interwebs as Tall Squall. If you go to my Twitter account, you will find pinned all the different fun things that I do, including the campaign that I DM on Saturdays at 2 o'clock Eastern time. We just had some fun on that one with some great moments that I posted some videos on. If you look me up on Twitter, would love to have you follow all of our different things, and hope to see you around the interwebs, everybody.
Yes.
Awesome. Fantastic. And Scarlet Moth, how was tonight's session for you?
That was a lot of fun. I always enjoy where this game goes. I'm never quite sure where it's going to go, but that's part of the fun. I like not knowing. And more great character interactions. We're really not great at making deals. I'm so sorry, Cloak. I'm sorry. We shouldn't bring Riordan anywhere. Know what he's like.
Can't take me anywhere.
Anyway, you can find me at that Scarlet Moth on Twitter. Just Scarlet Moth on the rest of the interwebs. I am on Almighty Tales channel on Monday morning American time with the Death Shades crew for our run-through of Lost Minds of Vandelver. And I might be running my own game soon, so that's fun too. Also, I've posted on my Twitter, but I just did an interview with Sci-Fi Wire on my D&D cosplays. So if you want to go check that out, that is up there with some interviews with some other awesome D&D fan creators.
Dope.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Fantastic stuff. And Cloak, McCloak, how was tonight's session, and what movies might we recognize you from?
Well, you might recognize me from such films as How to Lose a Gnome in 10 Days and How to Do Gang Negotiations 101. I thought tonight's episode was played perfectly. It's really Cloak is like the shady character, and he's like, I know what I need to say, and then someone gives the exact thing that we shouldn't offer, and then he's like, it was Glass, now it's Rowan. So he's like, I'm never bringing them to negotiations again. Riordan, he can play off. He's like, he's high. And then Tilly's just a hammer that he like just needs to hit people if they get too rowdy. But I had a blast tonight. I'm curious who the girl in red is. Like, it still bugs me. I think something's up. Just because it's Cloak, and then everyone's pointing out the flirting thing, which is distracting him a little bit. But I don't know how he's going to get back to full circle. Because him and Glass had that bro talk the last episode about, like, people don't hit on Cloak. Like, you can't see what he looks like. Why would they hit on Cloak? And then now everyone's like, oh, she's hitting on you. And he's like, no, and doesn't know how to deal with it. So, but yeah.
Glass is stuck with his story. It's like, that is not how flirting works.
That's not flirting. And like, there's like rubbing the arm and all that kind of stuff and like playing with your hair. And you're like, what are you doing? Are you a barber? You guys can find me at, my show on Wednesdays, StoryQuest, which is mixer.com/StoryQuest. That starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. And then I believe Thursday nights, guys, check out here on this channel for King Cecil. My lovely partner, Metamancer, runs that campaign, and she's been writing for City of Mist, and it's a fantastic campaign. You guys should check it out. It's fucking hilarious from many times that I've watched it. So, but yeah, that's me. I got more shows coming in January. I'll announce them when they start coming out and about. But yeah,
cool,
awesome, fantastic. And last but not least, Simply Jackson, how was tonight's session for you?
Super fun. Simple Jackson playing Tilly. Tizzy's my friend in chat. Excuse me. Playing Tilly, our dwarf, girl on girl, dwarf on dwarf kind of lady. She, as you'll come to learn with negotiations, Tilly's experience is whoever has the strongest and largest hammer for intimidation, and that's about it. So when it comes to these talks and stuff, that's why she just kind of sits there like, just let me know what I'm needed, just let me know, like, because she's not, plus I don't feel like we've been in town quite long enough to really have her know all the details about the players involved, but she does know some sort of war tactics, and that's about it. But I think Rowan is becoming more and more intriguing to her because it's blossoming that she is less and less of the Rowan that she thought she was back home, which is kind of fun. But other than that, it was
a bit of a slip up tonight, so
no,
not me,
no,
so.
It's totally fine. But yeah, I had fun, and I can't wait to see whose little rom-com unfolds first between Glaz or McLokin. That will be really fun. And you can find me over at twitch.tv/simplyjxn. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Let's Go. I've also been working on a painting of a Troll Hunter, which is my friend Mavis Gaming's Hunter. I will probably finish that up this week if you guys want to come by watch it. So, but that's it.
Yay.
Awesome. Fantastic stuff. Well, let's pick this winner. It is Deutsch. Goodness gracious. Congratulations, my friend. I'm sure we have rigged this system somehow. But Deutsch is here every
won like
goddamn show.
6 times.
He's in every show, man. He's in every show. Oh, boy, yeah. Deutsch is actually just my fake account that I use to send myself dice. He's actually a real person. He showed up on the viewer game last Thursday. He can confirm that at the very least I named someone Deutsch Americana so that I could go through with my my scheme. But congratulations.
There you go.
We got 3 games tomorrow, 3 shows, 3 more sets of dice to give away, so we'll see you guys then. They just keep coming. But until the next time, my friends, try not to roll too many nat ones because we want to be laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.